No offense to the Florida Panthers and New York Rangers, but the two best teams in the playoffs might be playing each other out west right now. Vegas and Dallas is high-level hockey.
It is. It's funny, though. I actually think the champs, I know everybody says the champs coming out of the West. I actually think the champs coming out of the East.
You might be right. I'm just saying the two best teams might be playing right now.
Well, I'll say this. I think they're the two best teams in the West. I really do.
They both play defense, and they both have tremendous speed. And that Wyatt Johnson's really good.
Now, Colorado had that one defenseman who's been out for a year and a half. Although Georgiev, they stuck with him, and he's starting to find himself.
Mm-hmm.
Morning, Paul, AJC, Coffenbaugh. Morning, Huntsville, Jacksonville. Hello.
Here we go.
Okay.
Here we go.
You are listening to Miller and Moulton, exclusively on the Florida Sports Network. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
Top of the morning to you on this final day of April. Is this year flying by or what? Hope your week got off to a good start. We will take it from here. Hold on one second. How the heck are you? We are Miller and Moulton. MillerandMoulton.com, Miller_Moulton on X. Broadcasting live from, two of the many corners of Florida. Southwest Florida and Northeast Florida. I'm David Moulton, broadcasting in Jacksonville.
That would make me Mark Miller, broadcasting in Southwest Florida.
Yeah, Miller and Moulton. And for those new audience in Jacksonville and Huntsville, welcome. We're an acquired taste, all right? Kind of like those worn socks, okay? And eventually even we get a hole in them, but you don't necessarily want to get rid of them, okay? You hide them from your wife, okay, in which you put the hole on the bottom of your foot, okay, so that when you're walking around, nobody sees the hole in your sock.
What in the heck? Now we're holy socks?
Well, I don't know.
Acquired taste is one thing, but socks with holes in them?
All right.
But my father used to threaten to get me for Christmas from Santa when I was being bad, you're going to get a pair of socks with holes in them.
I was trying to give the impression. See, at first I said we're worn socks, and then eventually, which become a hole in them. That's all. But they're comfortable. That's all I'm trying to say. Got to admit, I'm a little bummed that the series only went 5, but got to tip of the hat to the Panthers. And most series aren't going very long. NBA, NHL, it's like, listen, I know what you guys mapped out on the calendar. We'd like to get this over shorter if we can.
Going to be some long breaks in both sports because there have been quick series already in the postseason, teams being eliminated in sweeps, teams being eliminated in 5. And was it the end of an era last night in Tampa Bay, or in Sunrise with the Tampa Bay Lightning, I should say?
I will give ESPN, and you and I have both been very critical of their hockey coverage. We think TNT's is better. We think their pictures are better. We think their announcers are far better. All right. Credit ESPN last night for having the wherewithal to know that the biggest story at the very end, because we'll have plenty of time to jump back on the Panthers story. But the story, and they did not shy away from it, is this the end for Stamkos in Tampa Bay?
I will say it was their story right from the beginning. I mean, right from the open, they brought it up and continued it throughout the coverage and stuck with it until Steven Stamkos left the ice. The last player to leave the ice from the Tampa Bay Lightning.
And the Panthers, in a game that was far closer than the score, it was 2-1 mid-third. Panthers got a goal, then another one, then the Lightning gave up 2 empty netters, desperately trying to get back in it. But Panthers in 5, good for them. Getting over the hump. 3rd time the charm against the Lightning in these last 4 years. And, man, the Eastern playoffs in the NHL, We are one more win away by Boston and Carolina of having the Big Four staring at each other in the East.
And as much as you and I wanted to see more of Florida and Tampa, maybe a little bit of selfishness on our part on how good the series was, the Big Four in this conference have been dominant and are the teams we want to see. And it may give us even a better second round because they've cleaned up the first round in ample time to not be too banged up.
Right. Very few injuries so far, knock on wood, amongst the Big Four in the East. So, okay, good. Let's do it. Let's get to it. We talk about, was it the end for Stamkos in Tampa Bay? There was a post, and I'm still in the habit of saying tweet. There was a post on X late in the afternoon yesterday saying that this will be LeBron's last game in a Lakers uniform. It was by, I believe, Josina Anderson. And she matter-of-factly said, all right, this is it. This is going to be it. Now, he can opt out. This can be it. LeBron, well, first off, he can retire. He's 39. But, I mean, did we see the end of LeBron's Laker era? 6 years. Couple of conference finals, an NBA title. But it was in the pandemic. They didn't even get a parade. Boy, that sucks when you think about it, huh? Win a title, you don't even get a parade? Man. Does it even count if you don't get a parade?
It counts.
It does.
You get a ring.
You do.
More important than a parade, you get a ring.
Well, but Mark, you know my feeling. What does every fan base deserve?
I understand, but the Lakers fan base has had plenty of parades. They're going to be okay.
That is true. That is true. So, by the way, the old man's not bad. I know people, LeBron's a polarizing figure, probably as much off the court as on. Yeah, he played 44 minutes last night. He was 1 assist shy of a triple-double. 39 and 11. Yeah, 44 minutes. Arguably best player on the floor last night. 39 years old, played 44 minutes. Right. I mean, listen, a lot of people out there don't like him. Seriously, how good he still is at his age? Damn. But so maybe the end of 2 eras last night. One a lot longer. One guy, a better player. One of the all-time greats. But playoffs will do that to you, Mark. The end is sudden.
Yes, it is. Very matter of fact. And for the Lightning, they have a lot of questions now in the offseason.
I don't know how much flexibility they have. That I don't think this is a Toronto situation. I really don't. I look at the Lightning more like the Phoenix Suns.
You think they're pretty locked in cap-wise of what they have, and if Stamkos goes, they've got no one else to bring in because they're up against it cap-wise.
Well, but also, I mean, come on, you're not getting rid of Vasilevsky. You're not getting rid of Hedman. You're not getting rid of Kucherov. You're not getting rid of Point. Well, I mean, if you decide for whatever reason you're moving on from Stamkos, okay, you get $8.5 million back in salary going forward. Okay, I guess you go get a couple guys. But I mean, they've been a big five here for the last few years. I mean, if they decide
they haven't lost because of the big five. They've lost because the back six have been completely decimated because they've had to pay the big five.
Yes.
The question becomes, what do they do with the Stamkos money? How much of a discount is he going to take to come back to Tampa?
The other thing that I am curious about, and it only happens a few times in sports, is this a case where the fans can influence an organization's decision? The fans do not want him to go. They don't. And this is a very smart hockey market. Don't just think because it's a hockey market in the South. This is an excellent hockey market. Sophisticated fan base. They've been through this a couple times, by the way. The 04 team, the lockout, and then they had to break up that Stanley Cup champion. Then they had a team that went to the conference finals, but still, that wasn't the core of what they ended up having that went on this 10-year run. 6 conference finals, 4 appearances in the finals, 2 Lord Stanleys. This is a sophisticated hockey market. But, Mark, there are 1 or 2 players that go beyond that. The Laker fan, they're a little nuts, but that's actually a very sophisticated basketball market. I mean, they can go over the cliff, but they know their basketball. But you know what the Laker fan base said to management? Don't let Kobe go anywhere. Don't care. I know we're not good. There's probably much better ways we could use that money. You sign him, you keep him, he retires a Laker. We'll figure it out afterwards. And from a ticket standpoint, they went, okay.
And I look at Tampa right now, and I look at the Pittsburgh Penguins. And if you're not smart with what you're doing with your aging veterans, you end up with an old team that's not good enough. And your best player is still great, but you're not good enough to win anything. And is that what you want?
Scored 40 goals this year. Point-a-game guy. All right. Lethal on the power play. Although how ironic that it was their power play that let them down in this series. I mean, if their power play had done what it was supposed to do, they would have had the lead in the third period last night, besides the 2 disallowed goals. But I'm just curious. I don't know what the sentiment's going to be in Los Angeles. And I don't know about the whole, that's a fickle fan base crowd. The Lakers are the number 1 team in the market. But that doesn't necessarily mean they pay the prices to go to those games. That's got to be a semi-entertaining product in order for people to pay those prices. Genie Bus has to actually take into consideration, am I going to have 2,000-3,000 empty seats if I let LeBron go? I don't think the Lightning are going to lose 15 season ticket holders if they move on from Stamkos. But, Mark, I'm just wondering, is this one of those instances when the fans let the owner know, I understand if this actually prevents us from seriously challenging for a cup. I'd rather be a playoff team for 2 years with Stamkos than whatever it is you were thinking of doing without. I'll be curious.
I will be as well. The other side of it is that there are a lot of GMs that may want a Steven Stamkos to help their team get over the hump.
Oh, there's no doubt about it. I mean, to look at the big 4 in the East here, obviously 2 of them are going to come short in the second round. 1 of them is going to lose in the conference final. I mean, Carolina has been searching for goal scoring for 10 years. The Rangers have a hole on the right wing on their number 1 line. They've had it for 2 years now.
And Toronto has a hole in the entire city because they lack leadership.
Yes, they do.
They lack leadership.
Yes, they do. And toughness. Yep. Something that Stamkos and the Lightning had to deal with early on in their run. Right. Stamkos went from a pretty player to a terrific all-around player. Now he's not as good a 200-foot player anymore. He's not. He's not the great skater that he was. Still got great hands. Can still put the biscuit in the basket. But, the playoffs are glorious. The storylines that come out of them are just fantastic. Miller and Moulton. The aftermath of the draft, a lot of signings going on. Some interesting stuff in the NFL. The baseball season's a month old. We had 2 threats of no-nos last night. Miller and Moulton, thanks for listening.
Mark Miller for Molly Maid. Why Molly Maid, you ask? Trust. Moulton was a customer for 15 years. Affordability. Didn't I just say Moulton was a customer for 15 years? Worry-free services. Our professional house cleaners are fully insured and a 24-hour warranty. Call Molly Maids today at 239-774-5839. That's 239-774-5839 or online at mollymaid.com/FTMYERS. That's mollymaid.com/FTMYERS.
Located on the East Trail, locally owned Naples Tiki Bar and Grill is an outdoor eatery next to the Hitching Post Shopping Center. Island-inspired food with a true tiki theme. The best place in Naples to enjoy the beautiful weather in Southwest Florida. The Naples Tiki Bar and Grill offers a great menu for dine-in or takeout. Enjoy our famous pulled pork, huge burgers, and tiki bar cocktails. Don't miss happy hour every day from 3 to 6 and live music 7 days a week. See you soon at the Naples Tiki Bar and Grill, 11498 Tamiami Trail East.
The law firm of Michael F. Hornung specializes in criminal defense, DUI, personal injury, nursing home claims, and auto accidents. I'm a former prosecutor with over 34 years of experience. The information I know is information you need to know. If you've been arrested for a DUI, time is of the essence to maintain your driving privileges. Call the law firm of Michael F. Hornung for a free consultation. At the law firm of Michael F. Hornung, we are committed to excellence in your representation. Being a local attorney with local knowledge is clutch to the success of your case. For over 30 years, we have successfully represented the citizens of Southwest Florida. For a free consultation, call 239-437-0095. That's 239-437-0095. Our offices are conveniently located in Fort Myers. Visit online at mfh-law.com.
You are listening to Miller and Moulton on the Florida Sports Network.
Mac, don't do it. Don't do it. If I thought you were like really close and, I mean, that's the equivalent of like moving from the couch to the love seat. Don't do it. Although it would be interesting just to find out how much it's worth.
Mac, where are you? Are you still in Iran? Are you solving the Middle East peace crisis? I mean, what exactly is it you're doing there?
I was going to say. Or are you like Aykroyd and Belushi? I'm on a mission from God.
I don't know if I'd say that out loud there.
I would keep that on the inside. Fosse, Fosse, Fosse. Martha Graham, Madonna, Madonna. Yes. You know, it's funny. I don't know about you, but watching that Lightning Panther series, I felt like for long periods of time, Kucherov was invisible. He had 7 assists. Well, go Raiders. There's no doubt about it. I mean, Boston, obviously, after what the Panthers did to him last year, would love another crack at him. More politically stable, Mac, Iran or Turkey? Back to you, Jim, in the studio. Mac, should that be our poll question?
Good God.
Morning, J Gun. Empire. To me, I thought both goals. The second one, I thought if they had allowed it, they would have allowed it. But since they disallowed it, it stayed disallowed. To me,
In today's game, I hate both of them, but in today's game, they were both the right call.
yeah, in today's game, they're both no goals. I think the reason that they disallowed the second one was
Run into him.
well, but he was out. Most of him was outside the crease, but when he pirouetted, his left leg entered the crease, and so I think they could legitimately say, "Well, he's in the blue."
And he was clearly in the blue when he spun, and he hit the goalie.
He begins to spin outside the crease.
I understand that,
right.
but his leg went in the crease and hit the goaltender.
Yeah, it did, and that's why I thought their referee did a good job with that. He was strong, quick, firm. Saying, "Hey, I don't think this is a good challenge. I don't see how they win this," and he was right.
Weeks is awful.
Well, yeah, I mean, here you go. Gives it's really 50-50. No, you got to make a call. What would you call it?
But he didn't get pushed by the defender, RCB. He spun away from the defender. Right. He did not get pushed into the crease. If he was pushed into the crease, then it would have counted as a goal. He was not pushed. He spun from the defender. Right. And he spun back into the crease.
He was getting pushed in front of the crease. He spun to get away from the defender. The Lightning, you could read Cooper's lips. Cooper said he was pushed into him. And, so that was his challenge.
Here we go.
Welcome back to Miller and Moulton, only on the Florida Sports Network.
"21 past the hour. Miller and Moulton, millerandmoulton.com, Miller_Moulton on X. Thanks so much for being with us. I'm David Moulton, broadcasting from Jacksonville.
And that makes me Mark Miller, broadcasting from Southwest Florida. Hello, Jacksonville.
Hello. We did, over 15 years together in Southwest Florida. I moved to Jacksonville nearly 2 years ago for family reasons, but we continued the show. Why not? Because you know what the world needs? More sports radio shows and more podcasts. And we figured you're right. So we're the 1,219,000th show and podcast. We'll see if we can be one of the final million standing. That's our goal. David Samson will join us at the top of the hour. He's one of our regulars every Tuesday, 7 a.m. in the East. And he's on a world tour. I think he did his last show in the first leg of the tour last night. I think he flew back from Europe late last week, and I think he was in the city. I think he was in New York City last night. So, we'll get him on another 2-3 hours sleep, and he'll be punchy. He'll be entertaining. David Samson in about 40 minutes' time. Pat Kirwan will join us as we wrap up the draft. And there's only, 2-3 series in all of the NBA and the NHL that are 2-2. And one of them's Orlando and Cleveland. So we'll check in with the Magic, who have come from 2-0 down, whack the Cavs twice, and see whether or not a road team can even be competitive in a game in this series.
Yeah, the other 2-2 series, we'll see if a home team can win a game in that series.
Right.
With Dallas and Vegas, who have won all their games on the road.
And the only other 2-2 series involves another Dallas team, the Mavs and the Clippers. Because, of course, it makes sense when Kawhi plays, they lose. When he doesn't play, they win. Of course. That makes sense, right? Yeah. Miller and Moulton. So this story was unfolding right as our show was ending yesterday. What do you think about Jarvis Landry taking a year off? And then coming back saying, yeah, I needed a year for my body to heal, man. I'm healed up. I'm ready to go.
We'll see would be my answer to that.
Right.
It's tough for anybody in any sport to take a year off and come back, but okay, we'll see.
Yeah. I mean, he was a borderline 1 at the height of his career, a terrific 2, a borderline 1. The thought is Jacksonville needs a 1, but then again, I don't know. You can never have enough good players, right? If he's still good, man, hell, put him on the team. Absolutely. So that's interesting. Jarvis Landry in camp with the rookies in Jacksonville this week. Just seeing whether or not he's still got it. Huh. All right.
You know me, I'll kick the tires on anyone, David, that can make your team better. He's never been a head case anywhere. He's never been a problem. He's been a hardworking athlete.
Absolutely.
So I want guys like that on my team.
Off the field, if you will, story that was developing late in our show yesterday also. Big changes with the NFL today. Pat Kirwan, a part of the NFL today. We'll get his thoughts on that in about an hour and a half. But the 2 New York quarterbacks, if you will, Boomer Esiason and Phil Simms, are out. They're going younger. Matt Ryan is in. J.J. Watt, more of a role on the show. ESPN announces they win the war for Jason Kelce. He's going to join Monday Night Football Countdown. It's what we need. We need more talking heads, Mark. We need more talking heads. No?
David, it's the game of roulette that we play. One goes out, one comes in.
Yep.
I wanted to nominate for a poll question, what's your favorite pregame show? But I don't know if anybody really has one. I don't know how much the audience cares about pregame shows. The networks care desperately.
Yeah, they spend millions, tens of millions on them.
Right.
They
I
literally
turn the
do.
games on at 1.
I do too. And the NFL kicks off at 1:01 too. I mean, you can't be late. I mean, they don't care. I mean, if you notice, the pregame shows end at like 12:55. And then, they do commercials, and at like 12:59, they send it, on site, and they do the little minute and a half, dog and pony show. And then at 1:01, we kick those suckers off. I ain't playing around.
Yeah, the only reason a pregame show is on at my house is to ensure that I don't miss the opening kick.
I have to admit, and RG3, and for those that don't know, I'm fortunate enough to be part of the Monday Night Football broadcast crew, if you will, because I assist Troy Aikman during the game. And so I get into town usually midday Sunday, and they put all of us in the same hotel. So, I ran into the Monday Night Countdown people all the time. And, most of them, very nice. RG3, terrific, by the way. You'd love to spend a couple hours with RG3. He's awesome with the fans, by the way. I mean, Heisman Trophy winner, Rookie of the Year. I mean, and he's popular. He poses for all the photos, signs all the autographs. He is just an awesome dude. Kelsey's replacing him on Monday Night Football Countdown. Now, for as awesome as RG3 was, RG3 is nice. You go, if you spend time with RG3, you're sitting in the lobby. You're sitting in the hotel restaurant. It's polite. Mark, there's going to be Jason Kelce on the road. I mean, don't we have to go out and find like some PBRs and like a bull? And don't we have to like?
Well, there's definitely a segment worthy of what did Jason do last night?
Right.
What did Jason do where did he watch Sunday Night Football? Because that's what I don't care what he has to say on Monday. I want to know what he's doing Sunday night when he gets into town.
I mean, unless they're asking him to do stuff in the morning on Monday, like if they're asking him to do Greeny's show or Stephen A's show. But I mean, if he doesn't have to be ready till 3 or 4 in the afternoon to do their 3-hour pregame or whatever it is they do. I mean, you can go out and tie one on. You can be Bill Raftery. That's what I'm looking at here. Did ESPN just hire their next Bill Raftery? And for those that don't know, 80-year-old Bill Raftery can still close a bar with the best of them. I mean, Ian Eagle, when he was in his mid-20s, was doing Nets games with Bill Raftery, and very early on in their tenure, Ian looked right at him and said, yeah, I can't hang with you. I'm going back to the room. Boom. That's it. Raph was in his early 50s. Ian was like 27. Ian's like, phew, I got no game compared to you. So that's what I'm wondering here. Did ESPN just hire the next Raph?
We'll see. I think that it's a win for them because his popularity is never going to be bigger than it is right now.
I'm with you. Like, I'm surprised they sold their podcast for an unbelievable amount of money. And I'm wondering how close are we to overexposure on the Kelseys? But you and I have wondered that about the Mannings, and that hasn't happened. People still seem to like them. And goodness knows, they're in 84 commercials. They're doing shows all the time.
And they've continued to take themselves sometimes seriously and other times completely poking fun at themselves.
Right.
That seems to help the mix, David, if you know what I mean. They do not take themselves seriously all the time. They do enough poking of fun at themselves that allows others to do so as well.
But don't you sense the Mannings are kind of like Adam Sandler? That it's the same movie every time. It doesn't mean it's not entertaining. Doesn't mean I'm not going to watch. Doesn't mean I'm not going to pay money for it. But I mean, you know, Peyton's told the same corny jokes now for 20 years.
Yeah. Yeah.
But people are still laughing. People haven't gone, oh man, get some new material. No, they seem to be going, yeah, Peyton, I like him.
He's nice,
So-
David.
He's nice. People like nice, okay? Especially TV executives.
The law firm of Michael F. Hornung specializes in criminal defense, DUI, personal injury, nursing home claims, and auto accidents. I'm a former prosecutor with over 34 years of experience. The information I know is information you need to know. If you've been arrested for a DUI, time is of the essence to maintain your driving privileges. Call the law firm of Michael F. Hornung for a free consultation. At the law firm of Michael F. Hornung, we are committed to excellence in your representation. Being a local attorney with local knowledge is clutch to the success of your case. For over 30 years, we have successfully represented the citizens of Southwest Florida. For a free consultation, call 239-437-0095. That's 239-437-0095. Our offices are conveniently located in Fort Myers. Visit online at mfh-law.com.
Visit Jason and Todd at the Diamond District.
Hi, I'm Jason.
And I'm Todd with the Diamond District. I believe in complete transparency. If you're shopping for diamonds in Naples, you're paying too much. If you're shopping in the Cape or Fort Myers, you also won't see the selection you deserve to have. If you're online, there's no human connection, and you won't know if your diamond is beautiful or not until it shows up in the mail.
Just because it's GIA certified doesn't mean it's brilliant. There's so much more to a diamond than its cut, color, and clarity that makes it beautiful. Visit us at the Diamond District for a non-commissioned and educational presentation and quit paying more in Naples or buying blind from the internet. The Diamond District has the rarest diamonds from half carat to 10 carats. You won't find a bigger selection or better value.
And you won't find a better buying experience. Jason and I are in the store nearly every day, and we look forward to shaking your hand and welcoming you to our Diamond District family.
At the Diamond District.
You were listening to Miller and Moulton on the Florida Sports Network. All right, we need a poll question.
On to the pregame. Jason Kelsey signing with ESPN. Which pregame shows do you like best? Fox, NFL Sunday, CBS NFL Today. ESPN, what is it? Countdown? NBC Sunday Night Football? Or do you not put NBC Sunday Night Football because it's 7 o'clock at night? Do you just put C, don't watch pregame shows?
What's the Fox show called? Fox NFL pregame?
No. Isn't it? Didn't I just say Sunday? Hold on.
Oh, Fox NFL Countdown?
No, it's Fox NFL.
Kickoff.
I thought it was Fox NFL Sunday.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
ESPN Monday Night Countdown, right?
Or NFL Countdown, because the pregame show is technically NFL Countdown, so I would just put NFL Countdown.
Great. So CBS, and then don't watch pregame.
Right. The 3 choices, and don't watch pregame shows. Oh, Mac, I know. I remember what my agony was when the Rangers went 54.
Unless we wanted to put the NFL Network on there as the fourth one.
I mean, based on viewership, it draws 10%, but the others draw.
All right, it's up.
Kilo's dad, we had a long conversation many years ago about should there be more fantasy stuff in the main pregame shows. And we knew Fox wouldn't do it because their show's number 1. So they don't need to change anything. And I know ESPN does an entirely separate fantasy show. So basically, we were wondering, should CBS have added, major fantasy? And Kilo's dad, they're both tied for first.
Here we go.
Welcome back to Miller and Moulton, only on the Florida Sports Network.
"22 minutes till the top of the hour. That's when David Samson joins us for his weekly visit. Pat Kirwan will join us for one of his 2 weekly visits a little over an hour from now. And 2 hours from now, we'll look in at a really good series that no one is watching. The Cleveland Cavs and the Orlando Magic tied it 2. We'll talk about it from the Magic perspective. But right now it is time for
The starting five. 5 stories you need to know. It's the starting 5 on Miller and Moulton. Here's number 1.
Number 1 is the NFL. Why not? Chiefs signed Travis Kelce, richest deal for a tight end in terms of average annual salary ever. A 2-year deal, a little over $34 million. So there you go. Chiefs and Kelce basically saying, yeah, I got 2 more years in me. Which makes sense. I mean, what's he, 34? Turned 35 during this season. You know, that's about right. There were times last year in which he looked like he lost a step. They held him out of that final regular season game. In the playoffs, didn't look like he lost a step.
No, it actually looked like that week off completely rejuvenated him.
Mm-hmm. So the Chiefs throwing a little extra money. Kelce said, if I'm the best tight end, shouldn't I be paid the best? And they said, just let us get through the draft. We'll take care of that. And they did. Mentioned it earlier, 31-year-old Jarvis Landry, after a year off, has showed up in Jacksonville to see if he's still got it. He's working out with the Jags rookies this week. I hope he's still got it. He's a good player. I like watching him play. Vegas signs former Cowboys wide receiver Michael Gallup, a 1-year deal, potentially worth up to $3 million. Got to tell you, if he can regain his past form, that's a bargain. Falcons pick up the 5th-year option on tight end Kyle Pitts. So Kirk Cousins, Mark, for his 2 years in Atlanta, will have Kyle Pitts.
Let's see if they decide to throw the football to him now.
Right. 53 catches, I think, the most in a season that he's had in his first 3 years in the league. But he's under contract this year, and next year his option is for a little less than $11 million. By the way, New England, they paid one of their own. See, it's real easy, Mark, I think, if you're the general manager of the Patriots. There's only like 3-4 guys on the roster worth paying. So I think it's real easy to, point them out and sign them to extensions. One of them, defensive lineman Christian Barmore, 2nd-round pick 3 years ago, so he was entering the final year of his contract. They said, yeah, let's take care of that. They gave him a 4-year extension, which could earn him up to $92 million. That's $23 a year. Worth noting, however, that only 42 of the 92 is guaranteed.
I did see something on that contract. I believe it's the highest contract that New England's paid for anybody not named Brady.
Correct.
Just
Yep.
thought I'd point that out.
Well, it took 5 years, but we're finally putting the Brady era to bed, is what they're doing in New England. Let's go to hockey, where the Panthers get over the Lightning hump. After losing to them in the playoffs in 21 and 22, Florida. 6-1 was the final. The game was much closer than that. It was 2-1 mid-third. You throw in a couple empty netters. Bob was terrific. Would you say, by the way, that at the end of this series, that Florida's goaltending was every bit as equal, maybe even slightly better than Tampa Bay's?
Well, and I said this to you before, Bob's A game is as good as anyone's A game. The problem with Bob is that every once in a while a B or a C or a C- game shows up. Bob's A game is sensational. Sensational, David.
And he was sensational. And he made 31 saves last night. Barkov, 2 goals and assists. The captain leading the Panthers past the Lightning in 5 games. They'll await the winner of Boston and Toronto, which could end tonight with the Bruins up 3-1. And now for the Lightning, Stamkos' contract has expired. What do they do? And what is worth pointing out is that Braden Point's extension kicks in next year. So he played this year at a little under $2 million. Next year, he counts nearly $7 million on the cap. So it's part of the process here for the Lightning. By the way, a road team has won all 4 games out west between the Stars and the Golden Knights. Dallas, a 4-2 winner last night to even that series at 2 games apiece. 4 games tonight in the NHL. All 4 series 3-1. Boston, Carolina, Colorado, and Vancouver, 3 of the 4 at home, all with a win tonight. can advance. Seattle fired head coach Dave Hackstall just a year ago. He led them to the second round of the playoffs in their second year of existence. And Ron Francis fired him yesterday. Apparently, like 5 guys in the locker room met with the GM and said, we ain't coming back if he's the coach, just so you know. Francis went, well, then I guess he's no longer the coach. NBA, in a game not as close as the final score, Celtics by 14 over the Heat, 102-88. Derek White with 38 for the Celtics, a career high. Derek White. We're going to make Derek White beat us. Okay. Wow. Celtics up 3-1. Porzingis, however, left with a right calf injury. Non-contact calf injury. They said his Achilles is okay, but he walked off the court late second quarter, did not return, walked out of the arena in a walking boot. My guess is he won't play game 5, and they'll rest it up and get him back as soon as they can. Oklahoma City swept the Pelicans right out of the playoffs, 97-89. They'll face the winner of Dallas and the Clippers in the next round. That series is tied at 2. Jamal Murray, his calf was bothering him. The coaching staff and the training staff said, why don't you sit the rest of the game out? Murray said, no, I'm playing. Murray hit the game-winning shot with under 4 seconds to go. Second time in the series he did it. Denver eliminates the Lakers 108-106. They did so in 5. LeBron, by the way, 44 minutes, 30 points, 9 rebounds, 11 assists. Was it his final game in Los Angeles? He can opt out. 39 years old. Do you think LeBron's the answer somewhere? Like, is there a team out there in which he said, if he really wants to win one more ring, and he's got 1 or 2 years left, he should go here? Is it Cleveland? Believe it or not?
Is it the Knicks?
I don't know if you can take the ball out of Jalen Brunson's hands.
Yeah, I know.
I just throwing it out there.
He can play the point.
Oh, there's no doubt. I'm just throwing it out there. 3 games tonight. Knicks can eliminate the Sixers. Indiana on the road can eliminate Milwaukee. And then Orlando and Cleveland. NBA TV special. Series tied at 2. Baseball. The Marlins have lost 7 in a row. They're 6-24. They were just swept at home by the Nats. I don't want to say things are going badly or anything. But, Mark, let's play Guess the Attendance. Remember, Heat were home. Panthers were home. Not that it matters, but Marlins, guess the attendance. I will say they outdrew Oakland last night, but that's it. Guess the attendance. Monday night for the Nats. Go.
71-47.
Lower. Great guess, by the way. That's outstanding. 63-76. And we thank you. Drive home safely. Rays got a much-needed win. They had lost 6 of 7. They beat Milwaukee on the road 1-0. We'll talk about their City Connect jerseys and hats a little bit later on. The Cubs were no-hit going into the 8th, tied it in the 8th, and then Christopher Morel with a 2-run homer off Diaz in the 9th. Cubs beat the Mets 3-1. Orioles now tied for first with the Yankees. They beat them 2-0. Twins have won 8 in a row. They beat the White Sox 3-2. Justin Turner, 2 homers for the Jays and a 6-5 win over the Royals. Atlanta took a no-hitter into the 8th, but Mitch Garner hit a 2-run homer in the 9th for Seattle to beat Atlanta 2-1. Angels snap a 4-game skid, beat the Phillies 6-5. Reds 5-2 over San Diego. That Ellie De La Cruz, by the way, you get a chance. He hit a home run last night. That ball's still traveling. Is his 8th of the year. He's on pace for 40+.
And he's got like 15, 16 stolen bases already.
Right.
I mean,
he's literally on pace right now, all right, for a 40-80 season. And he's like 22. Dodgers double up Arizona 8-4. They have the biggest lead in baseball right now. They have a 4-game lead in the division. Everyone else in the division's under 500. All right, I said the Marlins outdrew the A's, and the Marlins did 63-76. Oakland's been playing pretty good ball, Mark. They won 5 of 8. They beat the Pirates last night at home 5-1. Before
42-36.
Lower.
Damn.
30, I know. 35-28 on hand at the former Oakland Alameda Coliseum. And gentlemen, we have a bet to make today because we had a rain out in Detroit between the Cardinals and the Tigers. So we've got a double dip today.
Let's play 2.
And you know what we do. Whoever wins the first game, we bet against them in the second because we bet on splits. So I don't know how much money we have left in the account, but there's where some of it is going. By the way, the NCAA is involved in a bunch of lawsuits right now, and they know they're not going to win any of them. So they sat down, apparently late last week in Dallas with the folks that are bringing this antitrust case against them. And apparently all the college football commissioners who were in town for their spring meeting, they stayed and they joined the negotiations. And Mark, apparently the NCAA is pretty far down the road with settling this antitrust case in which apparently all parties will chip in a bunch of money and a couple of $1 billion is going to be distributed to former college athletes. And apparently they're negotiating a future business model which will involve revenue sharing.
Boy, it sounds like an employee-employer type situation now, doesn't it, David?
It sure does, Mark. Sounds like the other 4 major sports, but what do we know? By the way, Trent Dilfer brought in an organization called athletes.org. They're basically a union. They're a players association. He brought them in a few months ago to his team, let them address his team. Yesterday, every UAB football player signed on with this organization. Now, they said, we're not suing the school or anything. We're not going to sit down and negotiate with the school. But basically, when this case gets settled and we get down the road, we want representation. So the UAB football team essentially unionized yesterday.
Because of their head coach.
At the urging of their head coach.
Right.
And he said publicly, now it's funny, the school has had no comment. I'm curious if the school is happy about this or not, or if the school realizes, hell, this is the future. Good job, Trent. And one other sports note, the Women's World Cup is up for bid. It's between Brazil, Europe, and the U.S. and Mexico. Well, the U.S. and Mexico withdrew their bid yesterday. They said, we're going to go for 2031. We'll let Brazil and 3 countries in Europe fight it out as to who hosts the Women's World Cup in 2027. So there. And at 9 minutes before the hour, that was
the Starting 5 every weekday morning at this time on Miller and Moulton.
And if you're new to the show, that truly was 5. NFL, NHL, NBA, Major League Baseball, NCAA, with a sprinkle, just a sprinkle of the World Cup soccer bidding news. That's all. 5 and a sprinkle. And if you're joining us at the end of the show,
5 in the sprinkle?
And a sprinkle. The Women's World Cup thing was a sprinkle.
So that story didn't really count.
No, it was a sprinkle. That's all. I mean, the wing wasn't very meaty. I mean, the other wings, they were plump. They were juicy. Okay, that was just, you
always have that one wing in there.
Thank you. Thank you.
Sometimes it's a flat, sometimes it's a drum. There's nothing to it.
Thank you. And you want to call the waiter over and go, you seriously counting this as one of the 10? I mean, are you serious about this? Yes, that's what that was.
It's still a wing.
They count it. It's true. They count it, but you don't count it. When you're sitting and looking at your plate, you go, I'll be damned. They gave me 9 and a sprinkle. That's what they did.
When you wanted 9 and a boost.
I wanted it in honor of our producer. You're going to get to know Trent Bally. Okay. He gambles, which is amazing because we pay him $8 a show. So we don't know what he gambles with, but he, the Hard Rock app, they provide some boost bets throughout the day. He loves the boosts, and he likes to, as he said, when he throws like a buck or two on a game, literally, it's a sprinkle.
It's how we put food on the table.
And by food, he means ramen.
I was going to say, man.
Miller and Moulton.
No wonder he's so skinny.
Samson on the other side.
Visit Jason and Todd at the Diamond District.
If you're in love and thinking about a diamond, you'll want to hear from my friends Jason and Todd at the Diamond District.
When purchasing a diamond, you deserve a relaxed, stress-free, and educational experience. You want to have a good time and feel comfortable. You want selection, quality, and value.
At the Diamond District, we do it all. With our team of non-commissioned diamond advisors, no one's in a rush. We care only about you and making sure your needs and wishes are fulfilled.
You'll be wowed by our selection of GIA certified diamonds, stunning diamond bracelets, earrings, pre-owned Rolex watches, exotic ruby, sapphire, emerald, and tanzanite jewelry. There's something for everyone at the Diamond District, and all at the lowest prices anywhere.
Jason and I love what we do and are in the store nearly every day. We look forward to shaking your hand and welcoming you to our Diamond District family.
Visit Jason and Todd at the Diamond District.
Hello, friends and family of Southwest Florida. Are you looking to tap into the electric vehicle market? Well, look no further, because we here at Southwest Florida Golf Carts have just what you need. E-bikes, golf carts, LSVs, scooters, and more. Come down and talk with one of our experienced sales reps, have a soda and a smile, and you could be cruising the streets in your new EV today. Stop by the store or visit our website at flgolfcarts.com and enter for a chance to win $100 off your next purchase by answering John's monthly sports question.
Located on the East Trail, locally owned Naples Tiki Bar and Grill is an outdoor eatery next to the Hitching Post Shopping Center. Island-inspired food with a true tiki theme. The best place in Naples to enjoy the beautiful weather in Southwest Florida. The Naples Tiki Bar and Grill offers a great menu for dine-in or takeout. Enjoy our famous pulled pork, huge burgers, and tiki bar cocktails. Don't miss happy hour every day from 3 to 6 and live music 7 days a week. See you soon at the Naples Tiki Bar and Grill, 11498 Tamiami Trail East.
The law firm of Michael F. Hornung specializes in criminal defense, DUI, personal injury, nursing home claims, and auto accidents. I'm a former prosecutor with over 34 years of experience. The information I know is information you need to know. If you've been arrested for a DUI, time is of the essence to maintain your driving privileges. Call the law firm of Michael F. Hornung for a free consultation. At the law firm of Michael F. Hornung, we are committed to excellence in your representation. Being a local attorney with local knowledge is clutch to the success of your case. For over 30 years, we have successfully represented the citizens of Southwest Florida. For a free consultation, call 239-437-0095. That's 239-437-0095. Our offices are conveniently located in Fort Myers. Visit online at mfh-law.com.
You are listening to Miller and Moulton on the Florida Sports Network. Good morning, David.
Good morning. Do you hear me okay?
Hear you very well.
All right.
Just to remind you that we are on in 2 new markets. One of them is Jacksonville, in which, as of right now, they are taking us via the Twitch broadcast.
So this commercial is probably airing in Jacksonville.
Right. On their app, this commercial might be, what we're doing right now might be airing. So if there's anything that you don't want out there or language or what have you, just wanted to let you know. Mark does that to me all the time just to mess with me. Don't pretend to talk into the mic and not say anything, you blankety blank. That freaks us out.
I just got done last night with the final show of this leg in New York City. It was a long night, rowdy, big crowd, and there were people from DraftKings and Meadowlark Media, and either a lot of people got stomach aches at the same time, or I may have said too much.
But also what you're saying is, let's say you guys wrapped up around 3:30, 4 o'clock then.
After a show, the show ends at 9:34. And then I do meet and greets, and by the time I leave the venue, it's 10:30. I can't get myself to sleep till 3 o'clock. Just too much adrenaline. and I don't eat any ice cream. So it's the only other way to get down. So I just basically stay up, watch the end of the Nuggets game, and then did work for Today's Nothing Personal and thought about your show and what kind of crazy things you'll talk about. And it's been a long month. My body's ready to have a fight with myself, and it's going to win.
You could save yourself some time. We don't even know what we're going to talk to you about week to week. How can you figure it out?
I guess it's just part of my job, trying to anticipate what I should be thinking about. I don't think I've yet been caught off guard, but you never know with you guys. Now that we're in Jacksonville, you could have questions about the Jacksonville employee who absconded with all their money. Could have stadium questions about whether Jacksonville is going to move to London or actually get a deal done.
They're going to get a deal done. It's a one-team town. What choice do you have? It's like Wisconsin losing the Packers. I mean, come on. Now, the Chicago stadium deal, that's worth talking about.
Boy, have I enjoyed. It's been a content fountain. What's going on with the White Sox and the Bears?
How'd you like the religious figure at the Bears announcement?
I didn't see it.
Yeah. Oh, you got to go back. I mean, they had a religious figure who literally the prayer was included in the passing of this stadium deal. One of the Chicago radio hosts went berserk about it.
Well, it must be a really good deity because there hasn't been a stadium vote yet. So if they were announcing the successful stadium vote, it must be Nostra frickin' Damus is who they had.
Well, they weren't announced. They were just saying they were encouraging, in the prayer was the encouraging the passing.
Got it.
You are listening to Miller and Moulton, exclusively on the Florida Sports Network. And now here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
And it's that day and time once again when we're joined by David Samson. He of the award-winning Nothing Personal with David Samson. It is a daily weekday podcast recorded live at 8 a.m. in the East, Monday through Friday. It is outstanding, and it is so popular he has now taken essentially his show on the road. How many cities did you go to?
6 cities this month. Started in Philadelphia April 2nd and ended in New York last night for the final show of this leg, and we're going to start it up again in a couple months, go to the Midwest, and then work our way west. So it's been an interesting month, to say the least.
What have you learned about you or your show doing this? Because you prepare your show one way. I don't know if you've changed the way you've prepared your show by meeting with the people, if you've learned you're doing it the right way. Like, what have you learned about the show and yourself doing this?
Well, I prepared the first show as though it would just be a regular show, and I had all my different segments, and I was ready to go. And then you realize when there's a live audience with interaction, it completely changes the entire show, and it becomes more of a stand-up routine where you mix comedy and questions from the audience and dealing with people who want to engage with you. And also, I learned making shows specific to the city where you are. So in Nashville, I talked a lot about expansion in Major League Baseball. In Philly, I talked a lot about Bryce Harper and a lot about the Sixers and their process that they should never have trusted to begin with. So in each city, you really tailor it to that audience. And then I've learned how great it is to just meet fans of your show who you've impacted, who give you time. Think about the people who give you 4 hours of their life every day. It's really inspiring to meet people who do that because you feel a connection, you feel responsible. The work, as hard as we all work, we're doing it because we want to be informative. We want to be worthy of people's time. And that's what you feel like when you're doing live shows, that you just want to be worthy of people's time and money.
Follow David on X at David, the letter P Samson, David P Samson. We have found over the years, because obviously we've done on location shows and what have you. There's content and then there's stories. We have found that people would much rather, yes, you have a lot of opinions on a lot of things. You're smart, the whole deal, but that they want the stories. Like, when we first started bringing you on, the feedback we got, like when you told the story about including the bus in the sale of the Marlins, where that literally the entire sale hinged on whether or not John Henry would pay for the bus. I mean, that to me, that's where you got to go, right? You got to tell them behind the scenes stuff that they're never going to get.
That is true. People do love stories. And luckily, I've been around a long time. So I have a lot of stories that I'm willing to tell and people are interested in hearing. And one of the things you're asking me what I learned, that just because I've told a story before somewhere, that doesn't mean that everyone in the room has heard the story before. And so my thought was that I can never repeat anything that I've said. But when you do repeat a story, it's still new to somebody else. And it brought me back as an old person to when they used to run reruns during the summer on the networks. So they would show shows from, let's say, September to May, and then they'd re-show them. And NBC used to have a tagline: if you haven't seen it, it's new to you. And that's what they would say about whatever, Seinfeld, that they would show a new show of during the summer. And so that's how I feel about these shows. There's people who haven't seen it, so it's new to them.
I was thinking, because having you on and thinking about what we were going to ask you, watching the draft, is there anything, and I mean, baseball couldn't televise a draft. No one would care. We don't know the players. But when I look at what football's done in creating all these other events, and yet all the other sports, their events seemingly go by the wayside. Is there an event that baseball's missing to try to get any type of the steam that football has from the draft, from the releasing of the damn schedule? I mean, it doesn't matter what football does. They could fart in a glass and put it on the air at 8 o'clock and 1 million people would watch it, for crying out loud.
Mark, you have now taken yourself inside so many meetings within Major League Baseball in the commissioner's office, so many hours during owners' meetings, where we are chasing our tail trying to figure out how to be the NFL. And we pretend we're not jealous of them. We pretend that it doesn't matter what they do, but we're just lying to ourselves and to you when we say that, because we're obsessed with the NFL. Major League Baseball literally is obsessed. Why? Because, as you said, everything they do, they make it a spectacle, but they make it a spectacle that people want to watch, and they take something and they grow it. It's what baseball is trying to do with the World Baseball Classic, and it's working in certain markets where it's becoming must-see TV every couple of years. We tried with the schedule release to make it a big thing. The problem is everyone knows who we're playing, and we have so many games that if we had a 17-game schedule, the schedule release would be meaningful, was always my argument. It's 162. People just know there's a game every day. That's one. The draft. How do we make it so we draft players who are going to help a major league team right now? And the answer is it'll never happen. I think the draft should not be an MLB event. It should be a minor league event. Try to get minor league cities excited, because the top draft picks are going to play in those cities a month later or a week later, not at the big league city. But yet we try to say, hey, get to know your prospects. No one gives a rat's pituitary gland about what's going on down on the farm. People say they do, and we do in-game entertainment saying updates on the farm. Here's our top 8 prospects. But I find that fans just want to see who they're watching in their particular city.
And we were talking about this yesterday with Gary Danielson. He said that the NFL should really thank college football, that, they hand deliver, if not stars, so many players that are well known that people are rooting for and follow. And is this where Major League Baseball, in some way, shape, or form, do they need to prop up college baseball? Do they need to help promote it? I mean, I'll be honest with you, Omaha's a big deal. Okay, that, people put it on their bucket list of sports fandom that they want to go to Omaha and take in the College World Series.
There needs to be more betting on baseball.
Okay.
And that's a real thing. And I know it sounds like I'm being campy.
No.
When you say college football is so great for the draft, It is, because that's AAA. College football
Right.
is the minor leagues for the NFL. You play college and then either you disappear or you become a pro. And there's a lot of wagering on college football. There's a college football playoff that's a huge deal. The AAA World Series, hold on, I don't know who is in it ever. I was president of a team and I couldn't tell you who was in the AAA World Series unless it was one of our affiliates and I was told by our development person. That's it. We would get, this is a funny story. For our September call-ups, that's when you can call up more minor leaguers than normal to help your team at the end of the year with extra pitching, extra catching, position players. I would get a list of players who we could not call up because they were involved in playoffs for our minor league team. And we didn't want to do that to our minor league team. We wanted the players to finish off their playoffs at the minor league level. And I always used to say, who cares? We need help at the big league level. It doesn't interest me at the minor league level to win a championship.
It's so funny you say that. I was in Binghamton in '92. The Mets and the Canton Akron Indians were playing for the Eastern League title. It was a best of 5. Canton Akron goes up 2-1. The Indians called up a bunch of guys from AAA. The AAA then called up a bunch of guys off the AA. Literally, like the 4 best players on the Canton Akron Indians got promoted in the middle of the championship series. Binghamton wins the last 2 games, wins the Eastern League title.
That story should sum it up for you. And when you don't have that, how do you build the excitement of the CFP when can you imagine half the team leaves like at halftime of the Rose Bowl? They just say, all right, that's it. We're now being called up to our big league team. It's just such a different world, different sport. We try. Did you know there were games in Mexico City this weekend?
Yes. But remember, we're goobers. We really pay attention. Do 99.7% of America have any idea the Rockies and Astros played 2 games in Mexico City? No idea at all. Nor do we think 99.6% of them care.
So that's an issue. When the NFL went to London once in a while, with Jacksonville as an example, it was an event. But now there's so many games in Europe, NFL games specifically, that you're not sure if there's a 9:30 a.m. game, but you're willing to look on a random Sunday morning if you're awake on the thought there's an international game. And it's so big for fantasy and for gambling. But a regular season game in baseball, one of 162 that's being played in Mexico City, there's a series in London coming up in June. It's hard to get the excitement for these international events the way it used to be, a little easier. And the NFL is even finding it quite a bit harder.
What's the end game for MLB in trying to play these games in London and Mexico? They're not, I mean, will they expand to Mexico City? Is that
No.
in the cards, or is this just a money grab?
They'll pretend that Mexico City is an expansion candidate when it comes to expansion, but it won't happen. And the reason why they'll pretend is that it will create competition with these cities that will eventually get expansion. But no, Mexico City won't get a team anytime in my lifetime. The reason why these leagues go international is they want to have a footprint where they can get local broadcast deals in these countries. International broadcast revenue is a real thing. You make money on that. Maybe you want to get all of the promoter money. It's promoters who pay to do these games. So when the NFL goes to Tottenham, they're getting paid to put a game on by a promoter in London. In Mexico City, there's a promoter that pays to get the Astros and the Rockies. And that is profitable. That's MLB International making money. Ideally, you want to get a superstar who is Mexican. The way Yao Ming changed basketball in China forever, you'd love to find a professional baseball player in China, in India, and it helps the market the way Japan is a huge baseball market because of the likes of Ichiro and Shohei.
Less than a minute left. How much money does a team make on an average baseball game? Because when we talk about maybe going from 162 to 154, you got to make up the lost revenue. An average game, not the 6,000 at the Marlins game last night, 20,000 a Tuesday night in Chicago. How much do the White Sox make on that game?
Let's assume that it is $100 is the per cap, which means that is what everybody spends on a ticket, food, beverage, parking, a baseball hat. So just assume that, and then assume a margin of 20% because their expenses, not all of which I'm allocating here, because I can make up the numbers, David, anyway, and show you that I could allocate salaries over 162 games, allocate them to the game day revenue, and all of a sudden your profitability goes right down into the toilet. So every team has a different amount, but I would tell you that there are not many teams that were not willing to go to 154. Double negative. So listen to what I said. Most teams were willing to go to 154 because they still are going to be fine losing 4 home games and 4 road games, but about 4 or 5 teams would really not be fine.
Hello, friends and family of Southwest Florida. Are you looking to tap into the electric vehicle market? Well, look no further, because we here at Southwest Florida Golf Carts have just what you need. E-bikes, golf carts, LSVs, scooters, and more. Come down and talk with one of our
hit me out, Q.
Have a soda and a smile, and you could be cruising the streets in your new EV today. Stop by the store or visit our website at flgolfcarts.com and enter for a chance to win $100 off your next purchase by answering John's monthly sports question.
Mark Miller for Molly Maid. Why Molly Maid, you ask? Trust. Moulton was a customer for 15 years. Affordability. Didn't I just say Moulton was a customer for 15 years? Worry-free services. Our professional house cleaners are fully insured and a 24-hour warranty. Call Molly Maids today at 239-774-5839. That's 239-774-5839 or online at mollymaid.com/FTMYERS. That's mollymaid.com/FTMYERS.
Visit Jason and Todd at the Diamond District.
When choosing something of high value and personal significance, such as a diamond, you want to shop with the best. And the mall is not the place to be. Here are my friends, Jason and Todd, with the Diamond District.
Take a stroll in the mall, pop into a few jewelry stores, and you'll soon discover you're in the wrong place. Rings begin to look all alike. Finding GIA certified diamonds, you quickly realize you know more than a salesperson helping you, and all the same financing gets pushed on you.
Visit Jason and me, and you'll find America's top bridal designers dealing exclusively with the Diamond District. You'll find the largest selection of GIA certified diamonds, all priced 8 to 10% over cost. You'll find educated sales consultants who have many years' experience and are not paid commissions.
And you'll find Todd and me in the store nearly every day, wanting to shake your hand and welcome you to our Diamond District family.
Visit Jason and Todd at the Diamond District.
You were listening to Miller and Moulton on the Florida Sports Network.
There were 11 games, DC, last night, Major League Baseball. There were runs scored in the first inning in 9 of the 11. That would be an interesting bet. Start tracking that, see whether or not. It's like betting the pass line. Betting with the dice or against it. Got the poll question ready?
Bet up.
Okay. I should probably retweet it. One of these days, I'm going to figure out how the show works.
It's cold in here today, which is usually not the problem. Yeah, no hat today, EB. I don't know. Just did the hair. And I was like, okay.
Did the hair?
Did the hair.
What do you do? Did the hair?
What?
There's no hair to do.
I run some water through it, and then I just have a little forming cream.
Oh,
rub it up in there. See, my hair's thick, so I got to have some sort of
right.
Blow dryer or towel dry?
Blow dryer.
I don't even own a blow dryer.
Okay, just wow.
Yeah, just towel. Just towel.
Man,
this kid blow dryer.
Hey, obviously he puts, with that little hair, he puts gel in it. You think the blow dryer question's out of line? I mean, he's the only one of the three of us still dating. I mean, I just.
Yeah, I've never been a blow dryer guy.
Me neither. Ever.
I loved the blow dryer when I was a kid.
No.
Try to feather it back and look real good. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I will say at the hotel, sometimes I'll mess around with it, but I don't know what I'm doing. I'm just, it feels
you
good.
turn it on and
the warm air
it dries the hair.
Oh, I know, but I like the.
Don't know what I'm. Do you point and shoot?
Mm.
That's what you're getting, Jacksonville.
Yep. And EB, you're right. No hat. I mean, seeing Trent with no hat. You know why? He's got product in his hair, so he doesn't want to mess it up.
I always throw something up there. It's just not. If I'm wearing a hat, it's just a little tiny bit. When it's this, it's like double. A double dab instead of just the little guy.
Do you really think your hair will move? I mean, you've taken off all your hair on the sides. I mean, you're like a big divot right now. Okay, that's what I mean. Do you really think it'll move? Plus, it's thick. Is that a crew shirt? Oh yeah, you did laundry. Oh yeah.
Did the laundry yesterday. Put a little music in, did the laundry, clean the bathroom, vacuum.
Wow, you cleaned the bathroom?
Productive day. Yeah, which my bathroom is very small, so
I don't know if I did that till I was in I don't know, my 30s.
Here we go.
You're listening to Miller and Moulton, only on the Florida Sports Network. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
21 minutes past the hour. Thanks so much for being with us. Miller and Moulton, millerandmoulton.com, Miller_Moulton on X. And go to Miller_Moulton on X, and you'll find our poll question. Heck, Mark had it up there 45 minutes ago. Of course, I didn't get around to retweeting it until about 2 minutes ago, but, somebody's paying attention. What's our question?
With Jason Kelce signing with Monday Night Football, which pregame show do you like the best? CBS's NFL Today, Fox NFL Sunday, NFL Countdown on ESPN, or I don't watch pregame, which is winning?
Kind of thought it would.
Yeah, that doesn't surprise me in this day and age.
Is there something they could do that would get you to watch? And by the way, they would love for you to watch. You're 24. The other two guys are 58 and 54. They would love for you to watch. Seriously, it's the only demographic that the NFL's worried about. They're not as good with younger people, not even close. And obviously, in theory, you want them to grow up to become NFL fans. So if they're not latching on to you now, what are the odds that they will latch on to you in your 30s and 40s? You're taking a risk.
I would think fantasy and gambling would be the keys to getting younger people to watch.
That, and I do think the progress they're making by bringing in RG3, I know they just replaced him with Jason Kelce, but players that we watched growing up, because when I get on, I love Howie, I love Terry, but like you said, David, I'm a sports goober, so I like those guys. The average 24-year-old does not know anything about Jimmy Johnson. You know what I mean? I mean, they know he's a Cowboys coach or whatever, but they don't.
No,
they're not interested with what Jimmy Johnson has to say. They would be interested to hear what Jason Kelce has to say.
Would they be interested if Belichick was on?
I would be. I don't think most 24-year-olds would, to be honest, because he's just monotone, and that's what we know him as, right? Because that's how he sounded at the podium for 2 decades.
He, by the way, is showing up. Tom Brady is being roasted Sunday. Live on Netflix. That's the other thing. Netflix doesn't do live. Apparently, this roast is going to be live Sunday on Netflix. Belichick is one of the roasters. How much money would you donate for Belichick to tell an off-color joke at Brady's expense? Honestly, I'd throw hundreds into the pot for a drop-dead funny off-color joke at Brady's expense. You know, the type of, it doesn't have to be the A-list joke at a roast, but a good,
but he
solid,
he's gone through a divorce recently. There's
Totally.
material there that you can get to.
Totally. Something involving Giselle, something involving footballs and deflate, I mean, come on now. I mean, that's worth the price of admission to me.
Sounds like you're ready to watch the Tom Brady roast.
Totally. What am I going to be watching? I'm guessing it's Sunday night, right? It's Sunday, so I'm guessing it's in the evening. Oh, yes. Yes. I know it could be like game 7 of Mavs Clippers or, Magic Cavs. No, I get it. No, I'm in. First off, I think Peyton and the popularity of the Mannings making fun of themselves. Okay. The fact that Brady's even agreed to do this, he's Tom Brady. It's like a pedestal. The greatest football player of all time.
Right.
Many people hold him in that regard. He's just starting his second career of broadcasting. He's getting roasted before he does his first broadcast.
Michael Jordan would never do something like this, just for
Well,
example.
especially right after he retired.
Right.
Imagine, do you think LeBron, 2 years from now, he's done? All right.
No.
And LeBron would say,
No.
yeah, sure, I'll show up.
LeBron, are you kidding me?
Exactly.
What do you tell me next? Kevin Durant's going to let them roast him?
They are a little thin-skinned.
You think? Could you imagine any NBA player being roasted without their burner phone sitting next to him, for crying out loud?
Well, I could from a different era. Like, I think, Chuck would take part in a roast. Shaq would definitely take part in a roast.
Current NBA player.
Right. No, hell no. Hell no. Although, you know who I think would? Anthony Edwards. I really do. I'm falling in love with that guy. I really am. He is an awesome player, and he's got, I don't know, he's got a bit of an old school mentality. He just tells it like it is. About himself, Karl Anthony Towns is an all-star player. He looks right at him and says, stop fouling, man.
Some of that mic'd up was good, wasn't it?
Yeah.
They can't beat us unless we foul them. So quit fouling, man.
Right. And Karl Anthony Towns, instead of saying, shut up, worry about yourself, Karl Anthony goes, you're right. My bad.
And he's the vet.
Right.
Edwards is the new young gun.
Is the newbie.
So Sunday night, 8 p.m. on Netflix, the greatest roast of all time. The GROAT, as they're calling it.
I'm in. I got to be honest. I'm in. At which point, Belichick then, after telling 4 tremendous jokes at Brady's expense, says, and I'd like to announce the debut of my new podcast, We're On to Cincinnati. Good night, everybody. And he walks off. He is threatening to do a podcast. You have to name it that, right? I mean, come on. You got to look at Bill and go, listen, you're going to be back in coaching next year. It's a 1-year thing. Okay. Let's say we call it We're On to Cincinnati. Come on. Poke fun at yourself. Okay.
Either that or next question.
Right. Think about the shows you're going on. McAfee and Manning. What do? They make fun of themselves. If you're going to do this, got to make fun of yourself. Got to be more likable, Bill. Apparently nobody hires you because they think you're a blankety blank.
I'll watch more Manning cast with Belichick on it than I was before. I already liked the Manning cast. I think we've got the perspective of the regular broadcast taken care of.
Right.
Since
I'm in
you're
the
there.
booth. I know it doesn't help our viewership on this show because you two are like, well, hell, Moulton's in the booth. He'll tell us if anything has went on. Let's watch the Manning-cast.
It's one of the first things I thought of when I realized what you do. Like, oh, great. Now I can just kind of relax on Monday night.
Right. He didn't think, wow, maybe I need to watch out of respect to him. He thought, well, hell, since he's there, I can watch the other one.
That's exactly the way I've taken it, Trent.
My first Monday Night Football viewing experience as the producer of the show was when you were wearing the Sad Lizard costume.
Thanks, Joe Buck.
So that was great. Because I was
Not a
watching
sad
it with my
lizard.
family. I'm like, that's him right there.
Proud dinosaur.
Proud lizard, proud dinosaur, sad lizard, whatever it may have been. It won't top today's play of the day. What do you have for us, Trent?
Another series comes to a close with a rather exciting finish. Jamal Murray for the second time in this series since the Lakers home losers, and this time it was for good.
Denver looking for a game winner. Murray has it on the high right side. High pick from Jokic. Murray, jumper from 8. Got it again! 3.6 seconds left for the Lakers. LeBron over to Prince. Jumper's no good at the horn. And the LA Lakers can take that L on the way out, along with that whistle.
Jason Kosmicki on the call for 92.5 FM, the altitude in Denver. Jamal Murray wins it, leads all scorers, 32 points. And Lakers taking that L on the way out.
Gotta love the hometown announcer, don't you?
Yes.
Damn right you do.
Take that L with you and that whistle. Nuggets not happy with the officiating. Thinking the Lakers getting the calls. Lakers do get the calls.
Yes, they do. Make the call to Molly Maid, 239-774-5839. See what I did there, David? 239-774-5839. Call Molly Maid. Tell them Miller and Moulton sent you. You're looking for the cleanest house and the best service for the best prices. Molly Maid is the way to go. Make sure you tell them Miller and Moulton sent you. Pat Kirwan in 30 minutes right here. Mark Miller for Molly Maid. Why Molly Maid, you ask? Trust. Moulton was a customer for 15 years. Affordability. Didn't I just say Moulton was a customer for 15 years? Worry-free services. Our professional house cleaners are fully insured and a 24-hour warranty. Call Molly Maids today at 239-774-5839. That's 239-774-5839 or online at mollymaid.com/FTMYERS. That's mollymaid.com/FTMYERS.
The law firm of Michael F. Hornung has successfully represented the citizens of Southwest Florida for over 30 years. As a former prosecutor, the information I know is information you need to know. If you've been arrested for a DUI, a criminal matter, or involved in an auto accident, call the law firm of Michael F. Hornung. I'm a local attorney with local knowledge to assist you through the process. For a free consultation, call 239-437-0095. That's 239-437-0095. Offices in Fort Worth.
Visit Jason and Todd at the Diamond District.
20 years ago, Jason and I had the idea for a jewelry store like no other, with a vast selection of certified diamonds priced 8 to 12% over cost. A team of individuals who are educated, driven, and believe in cultivating relationships.
Today, we have become one of the largest independent jewelry stores in the country. Todd and I love what we do and are in the store nearly every day, along with our GIA gemologists, master jewelers, custom designers, and non-commissioned diamond consultants, all of which we consider family.
As direct diamond importers, we travel the world, forging relationships and sourcing diamonds. What we love most about our business is that we can call Southwest Florida our home.
If selection, value, and comfort are important to you, give the Diamond District an opportunity. You won't find a better diamond buying experience. Todd and I look forward to shaking your hand and welcoming you to our Diamond District family.
At the Diamond District.
You were listening to Miller and Moulton on the Florida Sports Network. Did you see the video of Kevin Na losing it?
Yeah. Feeney, I don't either. Who are they going to replace him with? Feeney, it will be interesting because Mertz is pretty good. Upper half quarterback in the SEC, and yet that's the guy behind him. Here's the thing, Feeney. You get rid of
coming back.
Napier, he may leave.
Welcome back to Miller and Moulton, only on the Florida Sports Network.
"22 minutes till the top of the hour. Pat Kirwan of NFL Radio And CBS's NFL Today show will join us coming up at the top of the hour. We'll talk a little Orlando Magic, who have won 2 home playoff games to even their series with the Cavs. Not many series are 2-2 between hockey and basketball. 2 hoop, 1 hockey. Series 2-2. Everything else has been 3-1 or a sweep. Got the Clippers and the Mavs, the Magic and the Cavs, and hoop, and just the Stars and the Golden Knights with the home team 0-4 in that series in hockey. But Pat Kirwan will join us at the top of the hour. And as we mentioned, he's part of CBS's NFL Today show, which had a shakeup yesterday. Boomer Esiason and Phil Simms out, Matt Ryan in, bigger role for J.J. Watt. And the pregame shows are the focus of our poll question. Which one do you watch? Or do you watch it all? And nearly half of you that are responding at that Mark Miller, at the David Moulton, at Miller_Moulton on X, right around half of you are like, yeah, I don't watch the pregame shows.
Texters who don't watch chiming in with the only pregame I watch is the fantasy football show. That's what I watch.
Do you set your lineup that late, or do you watch it because you're curious about the choices that you made and you want the fantasy people to let you know you made the right choice, or you're going to be in for a rough day?
I don't ever set my lineup. Sometimes it will help my last pick in a lineup, but more than anything, David, I think they give you the most football. I think the fantasy lineups start locking in on, hey, this matchup in game X is a big – there's an advantage for the slot in the game between Dallas and Minnesota today. And here's why. Dallas has been terrible against slot receivers. So to me, they're talking about football. The pregame shows are giving you stories. The pregame shows are for the casual fan that's giving you a background story on some player and his kids or his wife or his family. And quite frankly, I don't care.
Because the lineup, if you will, has to be set by an NFL team 90 minutes before kickoff. That's when you have to declare who's active, who's inactive. So if you're waiting to see if someone who's day-to-day is going to go or not, you find out 90 minutes before kickoff. That, to me, is also the value of, say, the ESPN fantasy show, Mark, because if you playing guys in the 1 o'clock game, that show, I think, is 11-1. Well, they start going through actives, inactives at around 11:30.
100%, David. You are right on.
And your point, Mark, I mean, remember, we have Dr. Roto. For those that don't know, Dr. Roto is our regular fantasy guy during the football season. And we both became a fan of Dr. Roto because he lives in Southwest Florida, and we both lived there for the longest time. Mark still does. And he used to do a fantasy show on the weekends. And when I didn't do NFL, I was just doing college. I would land Sunday morning, and on my drive home, I was always listening to his show. And that's what appealed to me about Dr. Roto, even though I don't play fantasy, is, wow, he talks more football than I get all week. Because that's all he's talking about is matchups. And, you know, I mean, we love that on this show. We're goobers. I mean, we're trying to be entertaining, but deep down, we're goobers at heart.
And matchups has become, I mean, that's, if anything that you've learned, and I know you've learned a lot working with Gary Danielson, but hasn't that matchup, as he tried to say, the pressure point of a defense, is the one thing he's really imposed on you in the nearly 20 years that you've worked together?
It was very early on that I was around Gary, and he said to me, you have no idea the damage a good tight end could do to a defense. And we get to the booth a good 3 hours before kickoff on Saturdays. And there was one particular Saturday where, I mean, he always has 98% of his prep done, but Gary likes to work most of those 3 hours before the game. He's like a golfer who likes to fiddle with the, you know, the putter and then, you know, what have you. So Gary doesn't spend a lot of time just sitting around shooting the bull. And for whatever reason, we had a little bit of time that Saturday, and he literally took 10 minutes to show me the damage that you can do by formations with a tight end to a defense. And it was like, you know, I was taking a master class. It was like, wow. And he said, you know, we used to do this with Detroit. We used to do this with Cleveland. You know, imagine this guy was David Hill. Imagine this guy's Ozzie Newsome. You know, I mean, I have goosebumps right now just reciting it. And so that's why, and it's funny, we like the Raiders took Brock Bowers, and people are freaking out. Oh, well, they do because they've got a good tight end, right? The Notre Dame kid they took last year.
Yep.
And there are a few people that I know that are like, yeah, they should run 2 tight end all the time. Do you know what that does to a defense? Hey, we could talk about the Patriots. We're talking about Belichick and Brady a moment ago. Now, obviously, the best offense they had was the 07 one with, Randy Moss at his height. That team was damn near unstoppable. I don't know if anyone still has scored as many points as that Patriots team did. Wes Welker on the other side, Brady, a very good offensive line. We all know what they did. But I could argue the second best offense that the Patriots had, and they couldn't keep them healthy at the same time for long. But when they had Gronk and Aaron Hernandez, that was a problem.
It was unstoppable, David.
It was.
It wasn't a problem. It was unstoppable.
Right. And Gronk got hurt the one year. Okay. And it was why the Giants were able to beat him in the Super Bowl that year. Hernandez was hurt one year, and then we all know what happened to Aaron Hernandez. But when they had the two of them together, what are you going to do? Imagine 2 Kelseys. Look what the Chiefs do with 1. Imagine you had 2. Kyle Hamilton's the best covering safety in the game. He is. Kyle Hamilton's amazing. Kelsey caught 11 balls against Kyle Hamilton. Now, it helps that he's got the best quarterback in the game throwing to him. Some of the catches were ridiculous. But, imagine you got 2 of those. How many wideouts do you need? So, yeah.
Not to mention what you can do running the football when you have 2 tight ends.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I had
how long the line of scrimmage is.
I had no problem with the Raiders doing what they're doing. You bring in a dynamic offensive weapon that plays tight end. Oh, okay, you already have one. All right, we're running 12. We're running 12 personnel. A lot.
And I could argue, since they have 2 mediocre or maybe below, depending on your thoughts on Gardner Minshew and Aiden O'Connell, that having 2 tight ends, and oh, by the way, Devontae, who you still have to double team. Don't you agree? How many teams can cover Devontae Adams one-on-one? 5? That they think they got a corner that can cover him? So in theory, you put 2 tight ends on the field, safety's got to be involved in covering them, right? Well, one of your safeties got to cheat over to that guy, Adams. Well, now what are you going to do with the tight ends?
And now when you take one of those tight ends and move him out to the slot, out of formation, who's going with him? Because you're already doubling Adams. So what you can create offensively, to me, is, and as you mentioned Gardner Minshew, well, that just made him better, is what it did.
Speaking of wide receivers, I mentioned Devontae Adams. Apparently, the rumor mill last night, I don't know if you saw it on X before you went to bed, but the word is sometime today the Steelers are acquiring a veteran wide receiver. And obviously the 2 that you think of is they're going to take one of the 2 Niners receivers off their hands, Debo or Brandon Ayuk. One guy who also got mentioned was the Raiders wide receiver. Now, you got to admit, this is very un-Steeler-like. This would be awesome. They're tired of being, what did Mr. Rooney say publicly? I'm tired of being a fringe playoff team. We're better than that, or we need to be. And Tomlin entering the final year of a contract, although I think he renegotiated. The GM, who's like, oh, I guess Mr. Rooney's a little aggravated here. I guess I got to get to work.
And he has gone to work.
Blew out the whole quarterback room. Brought in Russell Wilson and Justin Fields.
Drafted linemen that people think are going to make an immediate impact on what was a bad offensive line.
And now he's talking about giving up future draft capital to go get a proven wide receiver. Hey, man, How about that division? I know you can go a little crazy, make too many deals and what have you. That's the toughest division in football. I find it laughable, the people in and around draft weekend that were debating the toughest division in the league. Are you serious? All 4 teams finished with a winning record last year. 3 of them made the playoffs in the tougher conference.
I think it's harder to pick who's going to finish last in that division than it is who's going to finish first.
Totally.
Like, I'll still put my money on Baltimore to win that division. Joe Burrow hasn't been healthy enough long enough for me to say he can do it over and over again. But who's going to finish last?
And Cincinnati won 9 games and Burrow missed half the year. If all 4 quarterbacks stay healthy, confidently pick who's going to finish fourth.
Right.
Yeah. Uh-huh. So, but that would be exciting. I'd love for him to wait one more day. Give me a May trade. It'd be symbolic. That's what I would. It's just wait one more day. Give me a May trade.
What the hell is the difference between today and tomorrow?
The day in which you can start firing MLB managers, apparently.
That's right, Mark. Can't do anything on April 30th. May 1st is when you can just right into action.
Okay. I guess.
And Irish brought it up in our Twitch chat room, and it's something that we haven't talked much about. And quite frankly, the draft is so big, it didn't get talked much about. But Goodell, who many feel is in the final contract, many feel that Goodell signed this extension. It pretty much takes him through the decade, and then Raj is going to be done. I mean, Mark, when you're making $60, $70 million a year, I mean, between now and the end of the contract's $300 to $400 million. I mean, do you need one more?
Do you need this one?
Well, the prices are going up. You're taking care of
they are.
Third and fourth generation, what have you. But Goodell, and right before the draft, he, answered some questions. And they're like, look into the future. What do you see? He goes, well, I see 18 games, number one. Number two, I see the Super Bowl President's Day weekend. It's a 3-day weekend. We'll play on Sunday. And 3, I don't see an international franchise, certainly not while I'm part of the league, but I do see us playing about 16 games outside the country. And we're playing about 6 right now? And didn't Pat Kirwan on our show a few years ago say I could see basically a 9:30 a.m. game every week? Because what does that do?
Opens up another TV slot.
New TV
and
package. TV
revenue for the league.
There you go. And Goodell's made no bones about it. He said this 2-3 years ago. We want to be a $25 billion annual league. 25. They're up to 20.
And the way Goodell is pushing the 18th game is very easy for the football fan to absorb. He's like, who wants 3 preseason games? Doesn't 18-2 sound a lot better than 17-3? And what fan out there goes, no, that sounds terrible?
But also notice what he's talking. He's not talking about moving the season earlier. Oh, no. They're not playing before Labor Day. That ain't happening. No. They're going to push it back. That's what they're going to do. Okay. All right. So, how many things has Roger said, this is what I want, or this is what we see happening, that hasn't happened in the next 3 years? Exactly. Right. Well said, Mark.
There you go.
Mm-hmm. You nailed that.
There you go. So 18 games, it's happening.
Now, remember, you got to open up the CBA. This is where, once again, if you're the players, start making your lists, man. They can't just they can't go meet at West Palm Beach and come out and say we're playing 18 games. This has to be negotiated through the union. So you want all guaranteed contracts? What is it you want? Because that's worth a few billion to the league. Now, sure, it's worth more to your players and by the way, if they go 18 games, think about the cap. The cap already now it just clicked in last year. It's going to go up 25 to 40 million a year. Add an 18th game. Add 5, 6, 8, 10 million to every team's cap going forward. Pat Kirwan, more NFL next.
The law firm of Michael F. Hornung specializes in criminal defense, DUI, personal injury, nursing home claims, and auto accidents. I'm a former prosecutor with over 34 years of experience. The information I know is information you need to know. If you've been arrested for a DUI, time is of the essence to maintain your driving privileges. Call the law firm of Michael F. Hornung for a free consultation. At the law firm of Michael F. Hornung, we are committed to excellence in your representation. Being a local attorney with local knowledge is clutch to the success of your case. For over 30 years, we have successfully represented the citizens of Southwest Florida. For a free consultation, call 239-437-0095. That's 239-437-0095. Our offices are conveniently located in Fort Myers. Visit online at mfh-law.com.
Visit Jason and Todd at the Diamond District.
Hi, I'm Jason.
And I'm Todd with the Diamond District. I believe in complete transparency. If you're shopping for diamonds in Naples, you're paying too much. If you're shopping in the Cape or Fort Myers, you also won't see the selection you deserve to have. If you're online, there's no human connection, and you won't know if your diamond is beautiful or not until it shows up in the mail.
Just because it's GIA certified doesn't mean it's brilliant. There's so much more to a diamond than its cut, color, and clarity that makes it beautiful. Visit us at the Diamond District for a non-commission and educational presentation and quit paying more in Naples or buying blind from the internet. The Diamond District has the rarest diamonds from half carat to 10 carats. You won't find a bigger selection or better value.
And you won't find a better buying experience. Jason and I are in the store nearly every day, and we look forward to shaking your hand and welcoming you to our Diamond District family.
At the Diamond District.
Hello, friends and family of Southwest Florida. Are you looking to tap into the electric vehicle market? Well, look no further because we here at Southwest Florida Golf Carts have just what you need. E-bikes, golf carts, LSVs, scooters, and more. Come down and talk with one of our experienced sales reps, have a soda and a smile, and you could be cruising the streets in your new EV today. Stop by the store or visit our website at flgolfcarts.com and enter for a chance to win $100 off your next purchase by answering John's monthly sports question.
Located on the East Trail, locally owned Naples Tiki Bar and Grill is an outdoor eatery next to the Hitching Post Shopping Center. Island-inspired food with a true tiki theme. The best place in Naples to enjoy the beautiful weather in Southwest Florida. The Naples Tiki Bar and Grill offers a great menu for dine-in or takeout. Enjoy our famous pulled pork, huge burgers, and tiki bar cocktails. Don't miss happy hour every day from 3 to 6 and live music 7 days a week. See you soon at the Naples Tiki Bar and Grill, 11498 Tamiami Trail East.
You were listening to Miller and Moulton on the Florida Sports Network.
Good morning, fellas.
Good morning, Pat. How are you?
I'm doing well.
You caught up on sleep yet?
No. Now we have like 2 weeks of questioning draft picks by callers.
What are you talking about, Pat? Everybody had a great draft except the Falcons. We read all the grades from all the experts. Everybody had a B- or higher except the Falcons.
Well, the first mistake was you called them experts. That's a misnomer. Pete Prisco? What's Pete Prisco an expert of? Shortness? Pete never did one thing in football, but he's got an opinion for everything.
I thought you'd enjoy that word. It's kind of why we did it. It's like throwing in underhand to get you going.
Well, yeah, like I need to get going. Sorry about Friday, but after Brian Kelly and Trace Armstrong, that wasn't happening.
So I text Pat a couple times and so didn't hear from him. So I text him after the show and go, "Hey, are you okay?" At 10:30, he goes, yeah, got back about 4 a.m. last night. Sorry. I'm like, no problem.
I didn't really know Brian, so I had a lot of fun with him. Good guy. We were just making fun of his Northeast accent in Louisiana.
You know, the word was he kind of wanted the Lions job. You know, when he was at Notre Dame.
He's been trying to get in pro football for almost his whole career.
How was Detroit?
You should be proud of your city. They did a nice job. The response of the fans to be there. The best thing that happened to them is that the weather broke on Saturday. It was supposed to rain all day, and the sun came out, and another 200,000 showed up.
Right.
It was really, really nice to see. And Jimmy Miller lives in Detroit, and you would appreciate this. He goes, "I've never seen a city this clean." The NFL came in and cleaned it up.
Believe it.
They did the same thing at Super Bowl. They took all the homeless north. Haircuts, doctors, dentists, clothes. I'm sure they're back on the street today.
These guys give me grief because I say one of the things I miss about living in Florida is getting that big change from winter into spring, and everyone doesn't know how to act and everyone's outside. That's what literally happened right on time for the draft.
Yes.
All these people coming downtown, they're wearing shorts and T-shirts because it's 60 degrees.
No, they were having spring fever, but when in doubt, drink. That's what people in Detroit do.
You got that right.
Fun, though. I live in fear of Green Bay. There's no way Green Bay can handle this. No direct flights. Disaster.
Also, the hotels. That's my question. Where are people going to stay? I mean, Appleton's what, 40 minutes away? I mean, seriously, where are they going to stay?
No, Milwaukee.
Yeah,
it's going to be a disaster. Yeah. Sirius told me they already have their hotels done. I was like,
well, good, because there's like 4 of them.
Yeah. So the league is, they know this is a disaster. There's no way this one's going to work. Plus, if everyone in Green Bay goes to the draft, they will not be able to compete with what Detroit did.
You are listening to Miller and Moulton, exclusively on the Florida Sports Network. And now here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
And joined at this day and time by Pat Kirwan, he of NFL Radio. Moving the Chains is the show with co-host Jim Miller, 3 to 7 weekdays. He does the show on Saturdays during the season. Sundays, he's been a part of CBS's NFL Today show, which had a big shakeup announced publicly yesterday. Pat joins us courtesy of Pinchers. Pinchers from Tampa to Key West, over a dozen locations in between. Pinchers, where you can't fake fresh. So, okay, it was an inside joke on the show, Pat. How did Detroit look?
It looked awesome. And I've been to all these events as they moved around the country. I give Detroit a lot of credit. The enthusiasm was there. The facility, they needed to have good weather. They got it. The numbers were the all-time biggest. And what was interesting was I didn't feel like fans from every team were there, which is usually how I feel. It just felt like it was a Detroit party. Everybody had on that Honolulu blue, and you can feel the overwhelming excitement for the Lions. And I loved it, and the city should be proud of themselves. They had enough hotel rooms. Everything else was fine. And it's another encouraging sign that this thing can go around the country and maybe, just maybe, provide for the cities that get it a revenue stream that would be in comparison to the Super Bowl. They get a lot of people, and they get every hotel, every restaurant, you name it. So there is a chance to make a lot of money for your city, and without having to sponsor a game, which is even better.
Well, Detroit looked good as a city hosting the draft, but Pat, they looked pretty good as a team drafting as well, didn't they?
Yeah, they do. They've been hitting the draft pretty good for a while now. So a lot of credit to the GM and the head coach. They know what they're looking for, and I think it's really Dan Campbell has spelled out to the front office, don't bring me guys I'm not going to coach. and they all know what he's looking for now. So it makes it impressive to watch them building a football team, and it's now going to officially, Mark, I bet you've been waiting a long time to hear this, it's going to be hard to make that team.
I want to see them just have a second year, Pat. I've watched this team my whole life. Consistency is lacked, to say the very least, with Detroit. So putting together a year that's comparable to last year after what they did a year ago, that's what I'm looking for.
Yeah, and I think, we all have to wait and see if it happens, but I would think it's reasonable to think that it will happen. When you start looking, they knew that they had to do something in the secondary, and the draft fell perfectly for them. Arnold is going to be a star in this league, and Rakestraw is a good player. So what they needed, they got, and that goes nicely for them with building what they've had. And they got a quarterback. They've got lots of other things. Remember last year at this time, it was probably this day when we were all questioning taking the running back from Alabama and not a defensive tackle. Oh, they should have taken a big lineman. Well, they knew better. And that kid, Gibbs, down the stretch last year was a major factor. So I don't challenge them. They'll be, even you go down the 6th round and Mahogany, the BC kid, he's a lunch pail. He'll make the team. He'll probably have to start 2 or 3 games because of injuries. He'll be fine. Wingo, as funny as talking to the LSU coach for a while, Coach Kelly, about Wingo. He goes, Wingo was like our captain. The kid that they took, Mason, beforehand, he goes, he's all potential. He didn't play that well, but Wingo is a utility guy, can play anywhere across the front, and has got leadership skills. So I know guys like Campbell, they're looking for guys like that. I wouldn't be surprised if Wingo is a kind of a role player, getting maybe 10, 15 snaps a game in the defensive line somewhere, inside, outside, anywhere. So they know, as I said, what they're looking for, and they got him. And they're keeping themselves ahead of the rest of the division, which some will make the case that Chicago and Minnesota made quantum leaps. Maybe they did, but they got a long way to go to catch where Detroit is.
Well, let's talk the Bears since you brought them up. Do you look at them and say that's a playoff roster? Because they won 7 last year. They've had a really good offseason. And they took a quarterback and potentially a number 1 wideout at 1-9. But when you look at the Bears, do you see a playoff roster?
Not yet. I think, I don't know if Williams is going to be as good as CJ Stroud, because that's really your question. You need Williams to be like CJ Stroud, and then the rest, the roster will follow. And I don't see that yet.
Well, it's tough to really say that about any young quarterback, right? I feel badly for the next 12 quarterbacks that are going to be taken in the first round, because they're all going to be held up to CJ Stroud. And that's pretty unfair, because that's the exception, not the rule.
To the hell with unfair. If you don't get one, you're going to get fired. I've gone through this with you guys. 42 quarterbacks from 2010 to now, 42 of them. There's only 1 Super Bowl champion. There's only 4 that went to the Super Bowl. So your odds aren't very good. Let's see. And this is right to Mark. Let's see if the Bear fans can behave themselves and not turn on this kid the first time he throws an interception, because they like doing that.
There's no doubt. And they have built him up already, Pat, with the receivers that are there, with the running back. I mean, from a skilled position standpoint, Chicago's in a lot better situation than we thought Houston was in last year.
Maybe. But this is the typical problem for all of us. When we start to look at last year, we think everyone is going to take a step forward from what they were last year. David said it a minute ago. Everybody got a good grade except Atlanta. What's the grade mean? It implies progress. That's what it implies. And progress, as we know, doesn't happen to everyone right away. I like the kid. He was a very interesting kid to talk to. He was on his best behavior. Let's see if he signs on time. Things that I worry about. Is he going to hold out for something? He doesn't have an agent. He's got a dad who I don't think was very fond of the draft process. But I worry most about the media and the fans, because they really don't trust the Bears. From the ownership on down. You get a Bear fan alone, which I do all the time, and you hear all the complaining about the family. You hear complaints about, their past mistakes, and hopefully the kid gets a real honeymoon. My suspicion is he won't, because he'll be compared right away to the other quarterbacks taken in this draft. If Daniels is tearing it up and your guy isn't, you know what happens. The kid in Carolina had no breathing room because of C.J. Stroud.
And because his roster around him was absolutely terrible. He's Pat Kirwan, NFL Radio's Moving the Chain, CBS's NFL Today Show, joining us once again, courtesy of Pinchers. Well, you were there. You were in the room. You felt it. The Falcons taking Penix at 8. It's fascinating. The Giants pass on him at 6. Falcons take him at 8 after signing Cousins. You're a Penix guy. So what did you think of the move?
Well, it's hard to do those things in a world where you just spent $90G guaranteed on Cousins. But first off, I was more so, let me just comment on the Giants first. I was really shocked they didn't take JJ at 6. And I think there were plenty of people in that room that wanted JJ at 6. So that was the big shocker for me with them. I didn't think they were going to take Penix. I do know that they liked JJ, but when their time came, which Jim Nagy said to me, we were talking about that. He goes, people just don't know how often people make a last minute change. And it sounded to me like they might have decided at the last second, let's not take the quarterback. Now on to Atlanta. Yeah, it's unorthodox as could be, but I think since Matt Ryan, it's only been a couple of years, but I think they really feel like we're never going to get caught again without a quarterback. Now, if Dick Steinberg, my old boss, was alive, he would have said, take the quarterback. Take Penix. Don't think about it. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about the complainers, because we'll see how far it goes. Now, I did look, and people will think really out of your mind, but I did look at Cousins' contract. It'd be reasonable to think he could play 2 years. Then you could trade him. Now, right away, guys, well, no, that's never going to happen. I go, that's what's wrong with people that don't solve problems. You have to look at every scenario. He'd have 2 years left. It'd be for a total of $90 million, $45 million a year, between a $35 million paragraph 5 and a $10 million roster bonus, which you could convert. So,
and only 10 of the 90s guaranteed.
Thank you. So could you move him in 2 years? Let's say Penix is tearing it up at practice. Maybe he plays a couple games because of injury. He looks the part. The third year is the option year. You haven't started him. Don't think that that's not in the realm of possibility that Cousins could finish on the road and this guy takes over. And then all of a sudden, Atlanta fans went berserk when the Falcons took Matt Ryan. They wanted a defensive tackle, and they've apologized many times over for that. But don't think you couldn't dump out Cousins in 2 years. That'd be a nice time to do it if the kid's good.
Well, not to mention by that point with where the cap's at, $45 million is not that daunting of a figure for whoever's taking him on, Pat.
No, I'll project that by the time 2 years comes, Mark, we're going to have 13, 14, maybe 15 quarterbacks making $50 million. So there's your point.
Because in 2 years, the cap's going to be 300, isn't it? I mean, we go 25-25. We're there.
Yeah. So it's not in the realm of probability, but it's certainly in the realm of possibility. And if you just think about it, the age of Cousins, what would appear to be a bargain for someone, and the kid's red hot, and you're sitting around just like Green Bay was when they realized we got to put Rodgers on the field.
Pat, in our Twitch chat room, we had a question. We got about a minute left in this segment. Your thoughts on the Bengals draft? I was not a Mims guy at 18. I worry about him getting on and staying on the field. Your thoughts on the Bengals draft?
Yeah, I'm not a Mims guy, so I'm joining your party on that one because I don't believe that he's really ready for prime time, and he hasn't played enough football. Now, if he had gone to a place like where Billy Callahan is, Billy might have whipped him into shape. So I think it's going to be a little bit frustrating for them with him. And I thought there were other options that they could have taken, but they didn't. Jenkins, utility player, can play across the front. I don't think that's going to be the case in pro football. I think he's going to be inside as a 3 technique, occasionally outside, maybe. Burton, journeyman receiver type, so not getting – and I say that because you're thinking, is he the T. Higgins replacement in a year? I think you're really stretching it if you think that's the case.
He's Pat Kirwan, and he joins us twice a week, courtesy of Pinchers. Pinchers, with locations from Tampa to Key West. Pinchers, where you cannot fake fresh. More with Pat on the other side right here on Miller and Moulton.
Hello, friends and family of Southwest Florida. Are you looking to tap into the electric vehicle market? Well, look no further, because we here at Southwest Florida Golf Carts have just what you need. E-bikes, golf carts, LSVs, scooters, and more. Come down and talk with one of our experienced sales reps, have a soda and a smile, and you could be cruising the streets in your new EV today. Stop by the store or visit our website at flgolfcarts.com and enter for a chance to win $100 off your next purchase by answering John's monthly sports question.
Visit Jason and Todd at the Diamond District.
When choosing something of high value and personal significance, such as a diamond, you want to shop with the best. And the mall is not the place to be. Here are my friends, Jason and Todd with the Diamond District.
Take a stroll in the mall, hop into a few jewelry stores, and you'll soon discover you're in the wrong place. Rings begin to look all alike. You're not finding GIA certified diamonds. You quickly realize you know more than a salesperson helping you, and all the same financing gets pushed on you.
Visit Jason and me, and you'll find America's top bridal designers dealing exclusively with the Diamond District. You'll find the largest selection of GIA certified diamonds, all priced 8 to 10% over cost. You'll find educated sales consultants who have many years' experience and are not paid commissions.
And you'll find Todd and me in the store nearly every day, wanting to shake your hand and welcome you to our Diamond District family.
Visit Jason and Todd at the Diamond District.
Located on the East Trail, locally owned Naples Tiki Bar and Grill is an outdoor eatery next to the Hitching Post Shopping Center. Island-inspired food with a true tiki theme. The best place in Naples to enjoy the beautiful weather in Southwest Florida. The Naples Tiki Bar and Grill offers a great menu for dine-in or takeout. Enjoy our famous pulled pork, huge burgers, and tiki bar cocktails. Don't miss happy hour every day from 3 to 6 and live music 7 days a week. See you soon at the Naples Tiki Bar and Grill, 11498 Tamiami Trail East.
You are listening to Miller and Moulton on the Florida Sports Network.
Ah, yes.
Pat, what are you going to do if the Blades go down tonight? Your Blade season could be over.
Thanks a lot, Mark. They played great the other night. Yeah. You know, after winning the whole thing twice and flying back here in June, both times, not that I need a rest, but there are a lot of youngsters. And they're not going to be that good, and they're kind of competing. But I do trust the GM. He is aggressive when it comes to finding players. You know better than me, Mark, about all those. You know, when the team right above them in the AHL is eliminated, they grab a couple of those guys, and it really helps the playoffs.
Yeah.
It didn't seem like they got many this time. I don't know if they're still playing or what's going on there, but I love watching Josh Hosang. He's really so much different than everyone else on the team. Just a great lesson in how good some guys are. But I don't think they're going to win, do you? They might win tonight. We got David's going to represent us, and expect him to do a little bit of voodoo cheering.
Voodoo cheering, huh?
We need a little
You'll be rooting for Jacksonville now. He switched allegiances.
Well, I will not be rooting for Jacksonville. Okay. Still have a soft spot for the Blades. They were good to us over the years. Listen, they got to score. I mean,
yeah.
They've had trouble. I mean, Jacksonville, best goals against in the league. They've only given up 2 goals in the 2 home games. Blades are lucky to get a split. You know, Blades need to score.
That is true. And they're really short guys who can. So. You know, Pendenza is should be their best scorer, but I don't know how the structure goes, but it seems to me like they go after him. he comes down the ice near the puck, they are blowing him up. So someone else has got to deliver.
The other thing I've been able to find out is that this is very much Panthers Lightning, with the Blades in the role of the Lightning. And this Jacksonville team finished ahead of them in the regular season, just like they did last year, but lost to them in the playoffs. Apparently, the last 3 times Jacksonville's made the playoffs, they've been eliminated by the Blades.
Yeah.
This is kind of, this is their mountain they got to climb as an organization.
The game ended in a fight the other night, which was great. The game is over, and they're still fighting on the ice. I keep sending a notice about what tonight's going to be like. So, yeah, it is. They got to solve it.
But,
as long as you have Johnson, the goalie, you should be in most games.
No doubt.
He can definitely steal 2. There's no question.
Yeah. So I appreciate the effort they make to be good. Like, it doesn't matter that it's minor league hockey to me. What matters to me is, do I feel like front office is trying to put the best team on the ice or the field? And that's how I feel when I watch them. I think they're always trying to be good. I don't think you can say that about a lot of sports franchises. So, yeah, I just appreciate the whole thing.
Going to be a lot of dinners, just you and Coach Cower, huh?
There always were. I talked to Phil for a long time yesterday, and certainly Boomer as well. But Boom's fine.
Yeah.
He's got so much good stuff going on. And it was really in November he started talking to me about retiring. There's a place up by my lake house, Silo Ridge, which is very, very exclusive. And he's played there, and he was thinking about, maybe I'll buy a place to retire to. And I knew the guy who runs it. And I said, so I connected him. But, he was already starting to have those kind of thoughts. Phil is looking to do more. He wants to do whatever the world presents to him in football terms. He's looking to do it. Yeah, Phil just likes to work. He watches tape every day. He doesn't go out because of his skin anymore in the sun, no golf. He just likes being in his house doing football. He'll call me this morning. Yesterday we talked about the job, but we all know what was happening.
Here we go.
You're listening to Miller and Moulton, exclusively on the Florida Sports Network.
Our remaining moments with Pat Kirwan. He of NFL Radio's Moving the Chains and CBS's NFL Today Show. Pat joining us once again, courtesy of Pinchers, Tampa to Key West, over a dozen locations in between. Pinchers, where you can't fake fresh. Phillip Rossman-Reich will join us in a little more than 15 minutes' time. Game 5, Magic and Cavs. Orlando's made a series of it. He covers the Magic. We'll talk about it coming up. But first, our remaining 10 minutes with Pat Kirwan. For what it's worth, Pat, Steelers, Rams, Commanders. I really like their drafts. I'm sure I'm missing a couple teams, but just thoughts, your gut feeling when it was over, the 3 or 4 teams in which you said, you know what, I like what they did.
I love what the Steelers, they had a plan. The plan was fortify the offensive line. They did it. And they to be commended for it, because they knew where they wanted to take it. And they hired a guy who's going to be running the offense. It's a run guy. And they went and got him some real physical people up front, which is going to help for sure. Commanders, if you really study that roster, which I know you guys do, you're looking at a complete overhaul here. Between their free agent moves, add that to the draft, and at least 11 new starters on the football team. So it's complete turnaround for them. And I think Dan wanted to do that. Dan wanted to start a different culture there, and he's doing the right thing with them. I thought Arizona had an interesting draft. I liked some of them. I talked to Monty Asafort today about it. So getting ready for him, it really kind of makes you look at them. And I feel I'm pretty pleasantly surprised with how they're doing. The Rams, for a guy that wore a T-shirt that said something in regards to the draft that was derogatory, they got a lot of picks, and they did a nice job. They are going to be a very good team. I don't think the three of us are going to not leave them out of the playoff equation when we talk in September. I think all of us think they're moving along quite nicely in the playoff world.
David mentioned Pittsburgh. I think the other team in Pennsylvania did pretty well too. I thought the Eagles had a really nice draft, Pat.
Yeah, I didn't bring it up because, David's a giant fan.
Oh, no. I love well-run organizations. I'm a Mets fan. The Braves are the best organization in baseball. No. I can appreciate teams that, nobody's running a franchise. I could argue the Eagles are running their team even better than the Chiefs. The Chiefs just have Mahomes.
Yeah, I think when you have Mahomes, you gotta think about life around Mahomes. Sometimes you do stuff just like giving Kelsey all that money at his age. You start to say, well, would everyone else do it? Probably not. The Eagles, let's jump on those two guys. Cooper DeJean, as long as his health is okay. There was a late story about maybe a foot that wasn't really 100%, and all of a sudden he's slipping to the second round. A week ago, did we think Cooper DeJean was a second rounder? No. So maybe there's a little bit of a yellow flag there about that. Quinion Mitchell's phenomenal. And that leads you back to the teams that could have had Quinion Mitchell and the ones that didn't take him and took other things. But those two guys will start early. Someone said, well, this is going to make Bradbury and the boys have to pick up the paces. No, then, honey, you don't know that GM. They're going to be gone. They may not go till next year, but they're gone. These two kids will be starting, and they'll be playing a lot fairly quickly. So Jeremiah Trotter, that was a favorite pick. We know that. The guy he struggles with anything that's in the air. He's good against the run. Like him. Keegan, journeyman type guy. So a bunch of their other picks maybe weren't anywhere near what they did at the impact of the first two. And I thought the Houston Christian kid, we had him at the Senior Bowl. That's a little bit of a risk pick. Top 100 pick there. We'll see how he does.
But the other thing about the Eagles, Mark, is they picked up a 3rd, 4th, and 5th for next year's draft. Yes. Okay, so not only did they get, if you like their draft this year, they picked up a 3rd, 4th, and 5th for next year's draft by trading their picks.
And the Vikings gave up so much. I mean, the Vikings, they got their quarterback. Their first round was fine, but they gave up most of next year's draft. What are the Vikings thinking right now, Pat?
They boxed themselves in. They have, with the problem when you have Cousins and you're not going to re-sign them, is that everyone knows you're vulnerable, and they could not get out of the vulnerability part of it, if you will, and they had to do what they had to do to get there. So there are people praising them. I think getting Dallas Turner saved them in the perception business. To get Dallas Turner after J.J. McCarthy, I even like Kyrie Jackson. That's a 6'4" corner. So I'll give them the 3 picks, and we'll deal with them later as it relates to the impact. But they like McCarthy. They did not have to go up to 2, 3, 4, anywhere in there to get him. So they're going to tell the world that, we got them where we wanted them. So I'm not criticizing them. For a team that pigeonholed themselves, they came out of it pretty good.
Is there a team that you had questions about when the draft was over in which you just said, you know what, I would not have done what they did?
Well, you said it, Atlanta. That's the easy one to talk about. Joe Alt, I like Joe, but I told you guys before that I like Fassino more. And Joe went a little up with me. That's the difference. When you go at 5 instead of 7, that's a lot of money, and that's a lot of decision making that's going into it. I'm not going to criticize him, but I thought I would have taken the other guy before him. I heard that Latu, there's still doctors. I don't think he was cleared on everyone's board with the neck. He would be cleared on mine. He played 2 years without it. So we'll see how that goes for the people that took him. But no, I look, don't you think the draft kind of came off the board just the way we talked about it all the time?
I don't know, 14 offensive players to start the draft, 6 quarterbacks in the top 12. We thought Nix and Penix maybe fall into the late teens or 20s. We thought Atlanta goes D lineman at 8. That was the part that shocked me, Pat. The Colts are sitting there at 15, and every defensive player is still on the board.
Yeah, I thought 1 or 2 would go. Whenever we had mock drafts, we usually had about 10 offensive guys and 2 defensive guys in the first 12 or so. So, yes, in that sense, But the quarterback thing, really, you're talking about Bo Nix. They shouldn't move down and get him. What are we doing here? You want Bo Nix, take Bo Nix. Don't be trying to get picks all the time. You might land up without the guy. Could they afford to not get Bo Nix? Now, the guys I know out there claim that's the guy they liked all along, but how many times have the three of us heard that? Oh, yeah, he was high on our board. Okay.
Of course he was.
Yeah, you know how that goes. But so I think the draft was extremely predictable. If you looked at the 32 names in the first round, was there a shocking name in there? Was there a crazy curveball? No. Was there someone moving into the bottom of the first round to get a quarterback? No, because they were already gone. I do think 6 quarterbacks pushed some very good players down to other spots, which everybody who didn't need a quarterback was delighted with that.
What about Buffalo moving out and letting the Chiefs take a receiver in front of them?
Well, I talked to Brandon Beane yesterday about it. He was not taking, he knew he wanted, and they had made that decision. But I asked him directly, I said, look, the reason I would move to 33, which is where you went, is to get all the action on the overnight. And he told me he had 5 calls and 5 offers for the spot. But he said nobody was offering anything big, and everyone below him, 34, 35, all in that range, they were all trading out. So people were getting what they wanted without having to go all the way to 33. Traditionally, 33 is where the best quarterback left goes, but nobody was taking any of the rest of those quarterbacks. I was surprised about Pratt going as late as he did, the Tulane kid.
Question in our Twitch chat room. The Chiefs, okay, they trade up for a receiver. That made sense. But they went Worthy, the fastest kid in the draft from Texas. A lot of other receivers went in the next 6, 7, 8 picks. Did you like the choice of receiver by the Chiefs?
Yeah, I think, I like their philosophy. And their philosophy is we're a tight end oriented passing game. And they know they can pick up or retain some of the guys that can catch the ball under. But to put a vertical threat on the field and push secondaries back, because this guy can get behind everybody. He might have value whether you even throw to him or not, because of the stretch of the field, which is I think going to help Kelsey. You know, you put him on Kelsey's side, there's no doubling Kelsey unless you want that guy behind the whole secondary. And Mahomes can put it out there if he wants to. So the threat of the deep is why they did it. Period.
He's Pat Kirwan. Weekdays 3 to 7, NFL Radio. Moving the Chains is the name of the show. And Pat joins us Tuesdays and Fridays during the meat of the season. It'll be once a week shortly thereafter here on Miller and Moulton.
Visit Jason and Todd at the Diamond District.
If you're in love and thinking about a diamond, you'll want to hear from my friends Jason and Todd at the Diamond District.
When purchasing a diamond, you deserve a relaxed, stress-free, and educational experience. You want to have a good time and feel comfortable. You want selection, quality, and value.
At the Diamond District, you'll get it all. With our team of non-commissioned diamond advisors, no one's in a rush. We care only about you and making sure your needs and wishes are fulfilled.
You'll be wowed by our selection of GIA-certified diamonds, stunning diamond bracelets, earrings, pre-owned Rolex watches, exotic ruby, sapphire, emerald, and tanzanite jewelry. There's something for everyone at the Diamond District. And all at the lowest prices anywhere.
Jason and I love what we do and are in the store nearly every day. We look forward to shaking your hand and welcoming you to our Diamond District family.
Visit Jason and Todd at the Diamond District.
The law firm of Michael F. Hornung specializes in criminal defense, DUI, personal injury, nursing home claims, and auto accidents. I'm a former prosecutor with over 34 years of experience. The information I know is information you need to know. If you've been arrested for a DUI, time is of the essence to maintain your driving privileges. Call the law firm of Michael F. Hornung for a free consultation. At the law firm of Michael F. Hornung, we are committed to excellence in your representation. Being a local attorney with local knowledge is clutch to the success of your case. For over 30 years, we have successfully represented the citizens of Southwest Florida. For a free consultation, call 239-437-0095. That's 239-437-0095. Our offices are conveniently located in Fort Myers. Visit online at mfh-law.com.
You were listening to Miller and Moulton on the Florida Sports Network.
Hey, I just saw something. So I know we've got the blue plate tweet, if you will, that we send out for the show.
Mm-hmm.
You probably need to add the Action News Jax app, okay, or some.
Yeah, I didn't know what to put because there's a link in there.
I think it's the Action News Jax app.
Okay, but what's on our thing, I can press a button and get to it. So I think I need.
What do you need?
The link, not the,
So when I reach out to him, what do I need?
You need the Twitter handle is what you need to put in the tweet. Is that what you guys are talking about?
Well, no, I can put the link as well, like I do with Twitch.
Or are you talking about for our bio, like where to listen?
No, when we send out the tweet,
I know what you're saying, but to put the Action News Jax app, that's not. They can't press that and go to Action News Jax.
Oh, like they can the other stuff that you put
anything that I've on there, you can just press it and get there.
But we could put their X handle right next to where we have iHeartRadio and ESPN SW.
Yep.
Southwest Florida. We could just put Action News Jax.
Yep.
Thank you, Missouri. Thanks for listening.
Black tip bass, is it the same owners of the Bears? Because until the Fords died you're laughing, Trent, but until she took over and all the Fords were dead who had been running this organization, they were still a piss poor organization.
Yes, for sure. I'm just laughing because if I don't laugh, I'll cry. I got you.
Ooh, I didn't realize this quote from Cooper last night. We might as well put skirts on them then. I think we're letting the goalies off the hook. I don't disagree. But I actually agree with him challenging it, though, even though I thought it was less.
I didn't. I thought that was ignorant. There was no way that was getting turned around.
I thought the reason it had a chance also was they've disallowed 2 goals, which is unusual.
Black tip, let me ask you this. How many wins do they have to get for Eberflus to get another contract? Because that's key to me.
Kevin Warren has nothing to do with the team.
Football.
Also,
Yeah,
Kevin's just getting the stadium.
Get in the stadium.
Right. And by the way, I know quite a few people in the Big Ten who have nothing good to say about Kevin Warren. But if he gets you a stadium, good luck. But I hope he doesn't touch the organization, the football side of it. It's all you need to know about Kevin Warren, Black Tip. He was in Europe. He was told by people in the Big Ten that USC and UCLA were joining. Okay? That's all you need to know. Kevin Warren was also the guy who wanted to cancel the football season.
Okay, we got Phillip. Here we go.
Welcome back to Miller and Moulton, only on the Florida Sports Network.
22 minutes until the top of the hour. David Samson and Pat Kirwan were on the show in the last hour and a half. Phillip Rossman-Reich is kind enough to join us right now. He is busy. He's been waiting a few years for this, a good team in which he can write about on Orlando Magic Daily and also host a daily podcast, Locked on Magic. Locked on Magic. Follow Phillip on X at PhilipRR_OMD for Orlando Magic Daily. Phillip, it's David and Mark. Thanks for doing this, particularly at this hour. How are you?
I'm doing good. How are you guys?
Well, we're good. We're curious. Was this just a home court thing and the Magic are, they just don't have what it takes to beat Cleveland in Cleveland? Or did the Magic do something differently that they can take to Cleveland?
Well, we're going to find out tonight, aren't we? I think it's a combination of both. Obviously, this is a team that throughout the regular season was dominant at home. They went 29. They were 29-10 at the Kia Center. They were a really good home team, and that's what you expect from a young team. But I think credit, maybe the 28 and 23 point victories are because they were home. The margin was because they were home. But they really did some things and changed some things up that they weren't doing in Cleveland that were really effective. They made some key adjustments. They obviously changed the lineup, bringing Wendell Carter back into the starting group. They put Jalen Suggs on Donovan Mitchell a little bit more. They really found some adjustments that they could make that they could use to take advantage of Cleveland. And Cleveland, just couldn't find their rhythm on the road. So yeah, obviously Orlando has to win a game on the road in order to win this series. But I don't think we can chalk it up solely to being at home, although I think it was a big factor for the Magic.
Well, obviously, Orlando's not the best 3-point shooting team. They shot it much better at home. What's going to take it to make the threes on the road? Because obviously, this is what the league's about. If you make your threes, you're an effective team. If you don't, you're in trouble. What's Orlando got to do to keep shooting the ball as well as they did, particularly in Game 4?
Yeah, I think some of it is they have to be willing to shoot. When they came home after Game 2, or really after both Game 1 and Game 2, they all said, we are getting the looks that we want to get. We just have to make the shots. And I think I'll give Orlando this much credit. They took 37 and 35 threes in the first two games. That's not who they are. They were 27th, 28th in the league in 3-point field goal attempts per game this year. They averaged about 31, 32 threes per game. Part of Cleveland's strategy was clearly, we believe you're not going to hit enough threes to beat us, and you're not going to take enough threes. So the Magic taking more threes than normal, I think, was part of Cleveland's game plan to say, go ahead and shoot. That's one less shot you're taking in the paint, or one less shot you're getting in the lane. So, I think Orlando in games 3 and 4, they were a little bit more selective with their 3-point shooting. They obviously made their threes, but they look to attack a little bit more. And I think Orlando has to bring that mindset back to Cleveland here if they want to win Game 5.
Phillip Rossman-Reich, he is a writer and editor for Orlando Magic Daily. That's orlandomagicdaily.com. And he's also the host of a daily Locked on Magic podcast. Locked on Magic podcast. Follow Phillip on X at PhilipRR_OMD, which is Orlando Magic Daily. All right. Did the Magic seem a little overwhelmed in Cleveland? Or did you think that, no, man, they just played the wrong way and they just couldn't put the ball in the ocean? Or did you think that they truly got their feet wet and then came home and now they're in the series?
Yeah, I'm gonna give the lawyer answer and say, yeah, it's all of the above. It's a little bit of everything. I do think that going on the road for their first playoff game and for a lot of these guys' first playoff game was overwhelming. I do think that it affected them and that it was kind of a culture shock for them of how intense these games are and how much detail is needed to be successful. And, the Magic still did some good things in those first two games. As rough as those games were, Cleveland still hasn't scored 100 points in the series. That's a credit to the defense that the Magic are playing. And so I think that games 1 and game 2, everyone just needs to get their feet wet. Even Jamal Mosley, the lineup change to put Jonathan Isaac in the starting lineup, I think proved to be a bad decision and proved to be kind of putting the cart before the horse or adjusting before you had a chance to see the series a little bit. And so I think everyone had to kind of learn and get used to what playoff basketball is like. They came home. Obviously, they rode the emotion and the wave of support from the fans. Now I feel like Orlando's a little bit more confident. I think we'll see a very different team tonight at Rocket Mortgage Fieldhouse than we did in games 1 and 2.
Well, in games 3 and 4, they won the battle on the glass. They won the battle on the offensive glass. They won the battle on second chance points. It sounds like, in a way, Phillip, they got tougher at home. They've got to be able to take that mentality on the road, don't they?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think, honestly, that is the difference in the series for either team. The team that is more physical, the team that is going to push the other team around, the team that's not going to back down when they get pushed. That's who wins the series. These are two very strong defensive teams. They want to be physical. They want to win kind of those grimy points. The team that wins the game. And I think that's the truth. Wendell Carter isn't getting a ton of rebounds, but if you watch him, he is measuring up Jared Allen on every missed shot or every shot attempt and is making sure he puts a body on him. That is a huge difference in the game, even if Carter's not the one getting the rebound.
I feel like the series is tonight. And I think this is Orlando's best shot to get a game in Cleveland because they've punched Cleveland in the face twice hard, maybe even knocked them down. And so if there's any doubt, you'll see it tonight. And also from a confidence standpoint, Orlando has to feel more confident now than even they felt a week ago. I kind of feel like the series is tonight.
Yeah, I mean, I think obviously 2-2, game 5, that's a big turning point in the series, and the pressure increases with each game. But I do tend to agree. I do think tonight is the series, or tonight is going to be the difference in the series for the Magic. And I've been kind of telling people this. The one thing we haven't seen in this series is a close game. I think the team that wins that close game, and we all thought it was going to be game 4, so it might be tonight. The team that wins the close game, I think, is going to win the series. We're missing kind of that coin flip game that kind of turns momentum in a major way.
And Phillip, Orlando's not been great in close games. I mean, if I'm not mistaken, they've got a losing record in games decided by 3 or less. So if it is a close game, does that favor Cleveland?
It's interesting, because, if you look at like the clutch stats as the NBA presents them, Orlando had a winning record when the game is within 5 points in the final 5 minutes. Cleveland has a losing record when the game is within 5 points in the final 5 minutes. And obviously, we know that Paolo Banchero's hit some big shots. He had the game winner against the Jazz. He had the game winner against the Bulls. He had the game winner against the Pistons. Like I think he was 15th in the league or he's top 15 or top 20 in the league in total points scored in clutch situations. But the thing the Magic really haven't done is they haven't had to come back when they're in the clutch. Like they've never been like down 5 with 4 minutes to play and rally to get the win. They've always played from ahead. And so, when we talk about this series, winning the first quarter, playing from ahead, not having to make up ground, that's a huge, huge factor, especially on the road.
Does this now feel like a successful season? Let's just say they've won their last game of the year. But they didn't go out in a sweep. They didn't go New Orleans against OKC. They avoided the play-in. Okay, they gave Cleveland a series. Right? They're so young. There's so much potential. I mean, Phillip, it now feels to me like after they held serve at home that you're not going to be able to say anything negative about this season, no matter what happens from this point forward.
Yeah, and honestly, I would have said that after they made the playoffs, and because for me, I've told my listeners, this season isn't about this season. This season is still about how does this team grow? How does this team get experience? What works for this group as you move forward and start to build a roster that can compete in the playoffs? And so, getting to the playoffs, having your weaknesses exposed, telling Paolo Banchero and Franz Wagner, these are the things you need to work on to succeed at this level. And obviously they've really found a lot of success at this level, which is encouraging. This season was already a success, and seeing the Magic compete in this series and seeing how close they are to getting out of the first round and beating a good team, even without home court advantage, that tells the front office, we're not that far. We don't need to make sweeping, wild changes. We can continue to maybe work a little bit on the margin, add some reinforcements here, add some skills there. we know that this group, this team has kind of a proof of concept that they can compete in the playoffs, they can be successful in the playoffs. And so now it's just about growing and building from there. And obviously this is going to be a big summer for the Magic beyond once the playoffs end.
Phillip Rossman-Reich. He covers the Orlando Magic for a living. He does so for Orlando Magic Daily, orlandomagicdaily.com, and then also Locked On Magic is the podcast. Okay, Phillip, thanks for making time for us. We appreciate it. Safe travels, all the best. Hopefully they get through and they play Boston and we can talk again.
Yep, that would be awesome. We love playoff series against the Celtics.
Phillip Rossman-Reich, kind enough to join us here on Miller and Moulton. I think tonight's a series.
You're probably right. Be tough to see this Orlando Magic team win a game 7 on the road.
You know,
if
Dallas,
they get to a game 7,
right.
I mean, obviously.
I mean, Dallas a couple of years ago famously did it to to Phoenix. Phoenix had the best record in the league, and it was a home series, 2-2, 1-1. And then next thing you know, Dallas goes into Phoenix and spanks them game 7. But I just think it's their best shot tonight. We were talking a little bit yesterday about the Phoenix Suns and how do you break them up and who goes where. Magic need a shooter. All right. And I know it's crazy. It's 3 more years at $50 a year, and I don't know how you do it because I don't think they're going to trade Booker. I think they're going to look to try to talk Beal into lifting his no trade or talk. Durant's got 2 more years at 50. But even Bradley Beal, who I don't think, by the way, you'd have to give a lot up to get Bradley Beal. I really don't, because I think the Suns would just take the salary cap relief and be happy with it. You put a Bradley Beal on the Magic, never mind if you could, put KD.
Sure about Bradley Beal for the Magic. I mean, you two are more NBA guys than I am, but Bradley Beal was a really good scorer on a really bad team
for a long time.
Right.
But never did a damn thing.
No,
they never did a damn thing.
I'm agreeing
so
with
let's bring
you.
a guy in that doesn't
agreeing.
win. That's not what I want for the Orlando Magic.
I'm agreeing with you. I'm saying he was basically buried there and good stats, bad team guy. Kind of like what Trae Young's. Now, Trae Young had that one good playoff run, but other than that, similar there.
But I'm just looking at the dimension that he brings. He's a shooter scorer. That's what they need. They need one. All right. And I don't know if Klay Thompson's good enough. He's cheaper. He's half the price of Bradley Beal. I mean, he's 4 for 100. Bradley's going to be 3 for 150 if you're acquiring him. But the Magic have a ton of assets that they could give up, young and picks, in which I don't think they'd hurt their bottom line, roster at all. And I mean, they're just acquiring the salary of Bradley Beal. And the other guys are still on their rookie deals, for goodness sakes. You can afford somebody like Bradley Beal. They could afford Durant. I don't think they need another big, no matter how well he shoots. Because between Paolo and Wagner, I don't know, quite frankly, where Durant fits on the floor, and he can't guard the perimeter anymore. But that's all I'm saying. We were talking yesterday about teams. I mean, quite frankly, even LeBron. We're talking about where is LeBron going to go if he doesn't re-up with the Lakers? Where if KD says, get me out of here? You want to go somewhere where you think you can win big. Conference finals or better. Where did Lillard agree
I just
to go?
don't know if Beal's that guy. That's all I'm asking.
I'll ask you this. You're one of the elite players. You got a choice next year, Miami or Orlando. Where would you want to go?
Orlando.
Probably Orlando.
Knicks or Orlando?
Knicks.
Oof.
But it's close. I get the question.
I mean, because I think, by the way, the scenario nobody's talking about is KD going back to OKC. I think KD goes to OKC, they win the title next year. I really do. He gets his LeBron Cleveland moment, and finally somebody will love him, because nobody loves him right now. I mean, the players do, but there's not a single fan base that loves KD. He needs to be able to retire and be loved somewhere. Like Lillard, he wanted Miami, but he settled for Milwaukee because he said, I can compete for championships and win there. I think Orlando's on the real short list. I really do.
Maybe named Orlando when he wants to get
Well,
now.
Hey, wait.
Now I'm more interested.
You wait to see what happens when all those guys get together at the Olympics and they go out at night and they're drinking wine till 4 a.m, where all of a sudden, I'm telling you right now, Giannis will want out. I'm telling you right now that he's done in Milwaukee. He is going to demand a trade. That baby's over. You wait to see what comes out of the Olympics after those guys get together and party together. They'll have a training camp for a week and a half, 2 weeks in Paris. Holy mackerel. The deals those guys will figure out. Hey, for those along the network, thanks so much for listening. Southwest Florida and Jacksonville, the Diamond District bonus hours next.
Hello, friends and family of Southwest Florida. Are you looking to tap into the electric vehicle market? Well, look no further because we here at Southwest Florida Golf Carts have just what you need. E-bikes, golf carts, LSVs, scooters, and more. Come down and talk with one of our experienced sales reps, have a soda and a smile, and you could be cruising the streets in your new EV today. Stop by the store or visit our website at flgolfcarts.com and enter for a chance to win $100 off your next purchase by answering John's monthly sports question.
Located on the East Trail, locally owned Naples Tiki Bar and Grill is an outdoor eatery next to the Hitching Post Shopping Center. Island-inspired food with a true tiki theme. The best place in Naples to enjoy the beautiful weather in Southwest Florida. The Naples Tiki Bar and Grill offers a great menu for dine-in or takeout. Enjoy our famous pulled pork, huge burgers, and tiki bar cocktails. Don't miss happy hour every day from 3 to 6 and live music 7 days a week. See you soon at the Naples Tiki Bar and Grill, 11498 Tamiami Trail.
Mark Miller for Molly Maid. Why Molly Maid, you ask? Trust. Moulton was a customer for 15 years. Affordability. Didn't I just say Moulton was a customer for 15 years? Worry-free services. Our professional house cleaners are fully insured and a 24-hour warranty. Call Molly Maids today at 239-774-5839. That's 239-774-5839 or online at mollymaid.com/FTMYERS. That's mollymaid.com/FTMYERS.
The waterways of Naples are a beauty to behold, and the Bayfront Inn has multiple ways for guests to enjoy the water and have some fun. Gather your family and friends and enjoy a leisurely day on the water with a pontoon or deck boat. If you prefer to explore the waterways without a motor, the Bayfront has canoes, standboards, and kayaks. At the end of your journey, enjoy lunch or dinner at the Bamboo Tropical Bar and Grill. The Bayfront Inn. Something for everyone. On 5th Avenue in Naples.
The law firm of Michael F. Hornung specializes in criminal defense, DUI, personal injury, nursing home claims, and auto accidents. I'm a former prosecutor with over 34 years of experience. The information I know is information you need to know. If you've been arrested for a DUI, time is of the essence to maintain your driving privileges. Call the law firm of Michael F. Hornung for a free consultation. At the law firm of Michael F. Hornung, we are committed to excellence in your representation. Being a local attorney with local knowledge is clutch to the success of your case. For over 30 years, we have successfully represented the citizens of Southwest Florida. For a free consultation, call 239-437-0095. That's 239-437-0095. Our offices are conveniently located in Fort Myers. Visit online at mfh-law.com.
You were listening to Miller and Moulton on the Florida Sports Network.
Adam, I don't know if you should take our NBA advice at all. I think all 3 games are 4.5 tonight. At least they were when I went to bed. All 3 games tonight were 4.5. Cleveland, I think the Pacers on the road by 4.5. Felipe and his dad went to the Heat game last night.
Yeah, he sat right in front of Leo Messi.
That's what he said. Yeah, Knicks, Cavs, Pacers, all 4.5-point favorites tonight. Pacers on the road. Obviously,
I find it interesting. I'm not on Felipe's links for text. He loves David, hates me. David wanted to fire him every day. I'm not joking. Every day,
told
I
him
saved
that.
Felipe's job for a year.
He did.
And he thinks I hate him because I liked him so much. I would get so mad at him. He'd be falling asleep. I would get so pissed at how little he cared about the job because I was trying to save his job. And he thinks I'm the dick.
And I told him, just so you know, Felipe, okay, I come across as being more affectionate towards you. I wanted you fired a year before you left.
Every day.
We yelled at
and
Mark.
David would text me.
Yelled at Mark. Because, decisions like this have to be unanimous. There's no, I'm going to go, Mark can't raise his hand and go, no, I'm going 51-49 on this. We agreed. Big stuff has got to be a 2-0 vote or at least 1-0 and an abstention. Okay. And I was like, get rid of him. Okay. Mark's like,
I didn't know it was that bad.
Oh my God. So the first time I went nuclear about it, I am cursing at Mark. I am so angry. And he goes, I really think it would be unfair. We haven't even written him up first. Okay. Let me talk to him. And I'm yelling at him going, when the hell did we get written up before we got fired? What the hell? Who is this guy I'm working with? Nice guy, Mark Miller.
It got so bad that he got mad at me.
Yes.
Because I was defending him.
Right. I go, we got fired 20 minutes after having a contract extension meeting with the boss once. Where the hell was that write-up?
David saying the snap out of it.
Yes.
Oh, my God. I was furious at him. I was like, who the hell am I doing a show with? Who are you? I just don't think it'd be fair. Fair? I did. I remember he said the word fair. I go, I don't think I've ever heard that word come out of your mouth. I'm the guy who always says fair.
And balanced.
Right. Oh my God. All in November too, Trent, for 3 weeks, I was MFing Mark like crazy. Got to fire this guy. Who are we going to get? I'll find somebody. I swear I'll find somebody. Just let me start the process.
And you were in the studio the whole time, right? Because this was
no.
I had just
no.
moved.
He had moved. That's why it was. That's because he.
Oh no! If I was in the studio, no, he would have been done. Totally done. There's no Mark would not. No way. I would have been. I might have physically accosted him. I was so mad at him. Falling asleep, showing up late. No. And if I was in Southwest Florida, no, I would have physically found somebody. No, I would have brought the guy to work. No. Mark saved his job, and the fact that I was in the 904, but Mark totally saved his job.
You are listening to Miller and Moulton, exclusively on the Florida Sports Network. And now here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
Well, we've had a lively show, and that's just getting to the Diamond District bonus hour on this final day of April. Tomorrow is the 1/3 point of the year. Tomorrow's day 122. And, leap year this year, so we got 366 days. So we're at the 1/3 pole tomorrow. I don't know. I feel like the year's moving.
You have been saying that for a while, and I keep reminding you it's because we're old.
You're right. You are. I realized that the other day. My daughter's birthday was yesterday, and she's a certain age. And, it was pointed out to me, there. And I go, yeah, it feels like 47 years ago. And obviously, it was only a little more than half that. Yeah. Everything.
My daughter's got her birthday this week.
Right. That's right.
Double digits.
Oh, that's right. Two numbers in the candle.
That's a big one.
It's noteworthy.
10 is a big one.
It's noteworthy. I don't think it's 13, and apparently for girls, 16, for whatever reason, 16 is like it. I never understood it. Got to be honest. I mean,
well,
the whole Sweet 16 thing. I mean, I thought it was a bracket thing in March, but apparently it's a girl's birthday thing.
Well, and if you're, Hispanic, the quinceañera 15, that's a big one, but 10, I remember being fired up for 10 because it's double digits.
13 was big. 26 was awful.
I got 2
Okay,
years.
come on. There's got to be a story. What?
No,
Why?
26 was because I had not accomplished enough personally in my head of where I wanted to be. I was
Oh, you were closer to 30 than 20.
to 30 than 20.
Oh,
And I felt
okay.
as if I had let things slip by in the first quarter century of my life.
Gotcha. Were you a write stuff down goals guy or just in your head?
Right.
I'm just asking. We don't know.
I can barely write down today with the day when for
I
crying
know
out
that.
loud.
I know.
And I can barely read what I wrote, so writing stuff down would have been a hell of a time.
But this was before I met you. Okay. I hadn't met you yet at 26. So I didn't know. Some people write down things to do, goals, they post them, some people want to lose weight, put a picture of themselves up in the mirror so they see it every day. I just didn't know if you, needed the visual.
I just need a doctor to prescribe that medicine so I can lose weight. That's all. That's where I'm at now. In fact, the next time I see Doc, we're going to have a long talk about that.
I understand. This is a true story. Don't know if my mom will cop to it, but I laughed when one of you said 10 was a big year. My mother has a hang up with 9. I don't know. I have no idea what happened to her when she was 9 or whatever. And my mother told me when I was 7 and I was 8, just so you know, I hate 9-year-olds. Okay. Mom.
Wow.
I know. Yeah. She
a
said
lot
I
of
hate
pressure on you as a kid.
hate 9-year-olds. So of course I turned 9 and my mom looked right at me and said, "Going to be a rough year." Huh? What? Huh? And so I couldn't wait till when I turned 10. I was like, freedom. Yeah. My mother was miserable the whole year.
I didn't know he was going to break into a George Michael song right there.
Well,
And I'm happy that we got it.
Well, you're lucky that's the one I broke into. Hello.
That is the content you get during the bonus hour right there.
So anyway, so what you saying 10's a big one. You know what? For me, it was too, come to think of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And my daughter has not acted like it's a big one. I mean, she has been very reserved for it being birthday week.
Ooh. So does that mean maybe you don't have to spend as much money as you normally do, or?
Yeah, I think.
Okay. Well, is the wife willing to go along with that though? Or is it, see, here's the problem we had in our house. My wife treated birthdays like Christmas. No, I'm serious. Okay. And we didn't have money growing up. I mean, we could pay our bills, but when bills were done, we had $31 left over. I mean, we did not have money, but we paid the bills and we were living a solid middle-class life. When it came to a birthday, oh my goodness. I mean, Todd and Jason sponsor this hour, the Diamond District. Mark, you and I did sales and what have you, the client for a long time. Remember, and they may still have it, their limo.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. One of my daughter's birthdays, I cashed in my chips, had their limo. Okay. She's like 9. Her and the 9-year-olds are going down to Fort Myers Beach in a limo for a birthday party. What the heck? What am I doing?
This is the first year we're not having a birthday party for my daughter. We've gone to the ice rink. We've gone to the bowling alley. You name it, we've done the birthday party. But this year, now that sleepovers are a thing, she wants to have her best friends over and just have a sleepover.
Oh,
that's great.
So I get out of the party. That saves several $100s. I'm a big fan. Sleepovers are easy. A couple of pizzas, throw some breakfast at them. You're in, you're out. It's over.
Have you gotten to the age yet where your wife kicks you out of the house and says, you know what, the girls are getting to a certain age, you should, go elsewhere for the night? Like go out.
And good luck with kicking me out of my home.
I got kicked out of my house a couple times.
Yeah, that's not happening.
I just say they got those. They had in their teens.
My house.
Yeah, well, I know you did the whole Eddie Murphy thing. My house. Okay. My house.
Around in the grass.
Exactly. No, my wife just said to me, it's a little awkward. They're teens and, the pool party, they're going to be in bathing suits and, why don't you just leave? And I'm like, we don't have a spring home. Where am I going to go? It's like, I don't know, get a hotel room. Oh yeah. They're very affordable in April in the 239. No question about it. Okay. And so, yeah. I was in a hotel room when I found out that there was some party and what have you. Jim Tressel resigned. It was Memorial Day weekend. They had a party over the house. I had to spend the night in a hotel room. I was in a hotel room. I found out Jim Tressel resigned in Ohio State. I went, I'll be damned. Would be nice to be home, have my own internet for this, but okay. My mom just sent me a text, by the way, and said, I told you at one point you may need to find someone else to live with. when I was 9. That's what she said to me at one point. She was rough that year.
There's got to be something to that.
It was 1975 for the record. I was 9 for just about the whole year because my birthday's in late December. Yeah, 75, rough year in the house. Just saying. Yep. So
really upset about the Ford administration, huh?
I was going to say, I totally understood why 2 women tried to shoot him during that year. I totally understood it. I was getting angry myself.
Mark, do you like your daughter's friends? Like when they come over, or are you?
I love it.
Okay, I just didn't know if you.
Oh no, I'm Mr. Mom. I mean, this job's over with at 10 o'clock. My wife works much harder than I do, so I'm the one running to practice. I'm the one picking up from school. So no, I've got no problem with it. In fact, they tried to throw an impromptu play date on me after the soccer game on Sunday, and I was like, yeah, I don't care. It was the other parents like, no, we got this. Bring them all over. The more that are there, the less I have to entertain.
Yeah.
See, that everybody thinks it's work with one when she wants to do something, and there are no, once friends are there, life's easy. All I got to do is throw some food in front of them every 3-4 hours, and I'm good. Make sure no one falls to the bottom of the pool. Simple stuff.
Yeah, that's true.
And you figure one of the girls out there would let you know if somebody's at the bottom too.
Right.
I mean, you can
They're
still
not
be on the
free
couch.
anymore.
Right. You can still monitor the pool party from the couch. Right. Absolutely. So Miller and Moulton. Do you think, by the way, Stamkos played his last game with the Lightning? And do you think LeBron played his last game with the Lakers?
I do not think Stamkos played his last game with the Lightning. I think he's going to retire with the Tampa Bay Lightning. I think they're going to come to an agreement. He's going to take a little bit more of a discount, a little hometown discount to finish his career with Tampa. LeBron, I mean, where's the best chance of Bronny playing?
First off, I really hope the kid stays in college.
I do
really
too.
hope.
He's not.
Wasn't there a rumor last week that he was actually going to go to Duquesne?
Yeah.
Okay, because LeBron's buddy got the job at Duquesne. First off, that'd be a great level. He'd play 35 minutes a night. He'd be the guy, okay, as opposed to coming off the bench and being a 15-minute role player guy at USC. I mean, there's no guarantee LeBron's a starter at a high major next year, besides his last name. I mean, there isn't. We don't know that yet. Okay, go to Duquesne. You start. You'll play 35 minutes a night. Go for it, man.
You'll make plenty of money in NIL too. It doesn't matter where he goes.
Right.
Absolutely.
Here's what I think is going to happen though. LeBron has one more year in him. Bronny is going to go to the draft. He's going to get drafted in the second round, and wherever he gets drafted to, that's where LeBron's going to play for one more year. I thought the timing of it all was kind of odd when Bronny entered the transfer portal, and then LeBron that same week said, I'm not going to be around forever and all that stuff.
I think if LeBron plays one more year, he plays 2. I don't think Bronny's doing the draft this year. I think, for as much as it's LeBron's dream to play with his kid, it's also doing a disservice to his kid, and he has to know it. Kid's not ready for the association. Come on.
It's a disservice to the game, and he has professed his love of the game. This would be a disservice to the game. It would literally be taking the job away from someone who deserves it.
No, that's definitely true. I'm just kind of reading the tea leaves. I just feel like
Well, and quite frankly, I mean, the Lakers would probably want to then put him on their G League team, though there's not going to be a G League, right?
Yeah, there's going to be a G League.
No,
Just that G League Ignite team disappeared.
That was the option if you didn't want to go to college. You could go play for the G League Ignite. Jalen Green did that.
Gotcha. So the G League's going to stay in business. G League Ignite is not.
Ignite was the one specific team that had all the
cash.
Kids.
Gotcha. Yeah. Okay. Here's my thought. Stamkos is going with the Maple Leafs. They're going to blow it up, and they're going to bring him in, and they're going to put the C on his chest. And they're bringing Stamkos to the Leafs at the same time that the Rangers brought Messier to New York. Same age. And they're going to put the C on him. And they're going to say, you need to be a leader. He grew up 20 miles outside of Toronto. I think it's the only place he'd play except Tampa. And if I'm the Leafs, I am blowing this sucker up. Tavares gone. Marner gone. Who's the other one? Not obviously you can't get rid of 69 goals there.
No, you're not getting rid of Matthews.
By the way, can we talk about that? He got pulled from a game because he was sick. He's questionable for tonight because of sickness. This is hockey. Hockey. This isn't Scottie Pippen and a migraine. Do you know what they
Well,
play
that's
with in
not,
hockey?
Nylander was missing the games because of migraines.
This is hockey. Guys play with broken legs and shoulders. How sick are you? I mean, this better be serious. This better be what Trent battled. I'm like, this is hockey. How do you come back from missing playoff games because of sickness? Stamkos came out of the hospital and scored a goal to win the cup. Are you kidding?
Sums up the Maple Leafs in a nutshell, doesn't it?
If I'm the Leafs, I'm trading everybody not named Matthews that I can, and I'm bringing Stamkos in, and I'm putting a C on him, and I'm saying, teach us how to win. And while you're at it, score 40 on the power play. Miller and Moulton. Thanks for listening.
Mark Miller for Molly Maid. Why Molly Maid, you ask? Trust. Moulton was a customer for 15 years. Affordability. Didn't I just say Moulton was a customer for 15 years? Worry-free services. Our professional house cleaners are fully insured and a 24-hour warranty. Call Molly Maids today at 239-774-5839. That's 239-774-5839 or online at mollymaid.com/FTMYERS. That's mollymaid.com/FTMYERS.
Hello, friends and family of Southwest Florida. Are you looking to tap into the electric vehicle market? Well, look no further, because we here at Southwest Florida Golf Carts have just what you need. E-bikes, golf carts, LSVs, scooters, and more. Come down and talk with one of our experienced sales reps, have a soda and a smile, and you could be cruising the streets in your new EV today. Stop by the store or visit our website at flgolfcarts.com and enter for a chance to win $100 off your next purchase by answering John's monthly sports question.
The law firm of Michael F. Hornung specializes in criminal defense, DUI, personal injury, nursing home claims, and auto accidents. I'm a former prosecutor with over 34 years of experience. The information I know is information you need to know. If you've been arrested for a DUI, time is of the essence to maintain your driving privileges. Call the law firm of Michael F. Hornung for a free consultation. At the law firm of Michael F. Hornung, we are committed to excellence in your representation. Being a local attorney with local knowledge is clutch to the success of your case. For over 30 years, we have successfully represented the citizens of Southwest Florida. For a free consultation, call 239-437-0095. That's 239-437-0095. Our offices are conveniently located in Fort Myers. Visit online at mfh-law.com.
You are listening to Miller and Moulton on the Florida Sports Network.
You golfing today?
I am. Only day this week, too. It really pisses me off.
Boy, it's like growing up 9 years old. What a tough time.
1975.
Rough year, baby.
That means, okay, so you were a big Van Halen guy, you've said. So in 78, when that was their debut, right? So you were 13 or 12?
Whose debut?
Van Halen.
I was 12. Changed my
Yeah.
life. No, seriously, I'd never heard music. I was like, oh, I was all into Van Halen. Running with the Devil's my favorite song. Wasn't that on their first album?
Yep.
Yeah, it's the first track.
Yeah, I absolutely love Running with the Devil. It's my favorite Van Halen song. It's not their best, I get it, but it's my favorite.
It's up there. Short list.
I love it. And then don't they go on the album, go right out of Running with the Devil to his minute and a half Eruption?
Yeah, Eruption's on. Yeah, that's the second track.
I think it's like the second track. And
Yeah,
I remember getting that album going, I have never heard music like this before.
There are no skips for me on that album. None.
Don't laugh, Trent. 1978. Basically, all of radio was AM, and there were a few music stations on FM. But seriously, like where I grew up, the two most popular stations were both AM stations. And to hear WNEW, where rock lives, in FM. And I remember switching over and hearing Van Halen and going, OMG. My mother was like, turn that crap off. I'm like, can you give me a couple minutes?
Yeah, those discoveries and those like sensations and stories.
Oh, yeah.
That's my generation didn't get any of that.
No,
Everything's just so accessible. We can just Google it, listen to it.
And you didn't get an album. I mean, I know Taylor Swift just dropped a big album, but I mean, it
you didn't get, LPs.
Ran to the mall after school the days that albums dropped. I literally ran to the mall, got in line at Sam Goody's and places like that to buy an album.
Well, and I just remember going to the mall and going to the record store and just looking at albums. Not even to buy. We could just go through albums for hours. And
yes.
Like my mom and I would go to the mall. She'd do her shopping. She'd find me in Camelot Music looking through albums.
Well, and that's why artwork was such a big deal. The cover, you got to catch them.
Kiss.
I thought it was all those super groups in the late 70s and the early 80s, okay? The Bostons, the Foreigners, the Kansases, the Styx. I thought in many cases their album covers were as good or better than their music.
Journey.
I was a big Journey guy. I like their music. Some of the worst videos, by the way. Oh my goodness.
Well, their music was almost done by the time you're thinking more of Stephen Perry videos than you are Journey videos.
Well, but the last Journey album with Stephen Perry, remember they were at that?
No.
Yes. Oh, the Steve Perry videos. Oh my goodness, were they bad? We'll say you look at some of the hairband videos now, 30 plus years later, and you cringe a little bit. You go, wow, we love these things too. Look how bad they were.
I love them all. And they are terrible.
I don't think you're wrong, Axe, that Iron Maiden, the album covers were better than the music. I don't think you're wrong.
Oh my God, Trent. It's a shame you grew up when you did. What was the late night show on MTV where they saved all their metal music for?
Oh, Headbangers Ball.
Headbangers Ball. Oh, Trent. You would have gone crazy for Headbangers.
That was a thing. I mean, at parties, if you're at the Saturday someone's house on Saturday night, it's like, oh, we got to turn on Headbangers Ball.
I have heard of it. I've never seen any of it or anything.
And all they did was play heavy metal. Ten, 15 years earlier, the equivalent was Don Kirshner's rock concert. And all of a sudden, you'd see The Who live from Toronto, and you'd see the whole show with commercial breaks.
Welcome to the bonus hour, brought to you by Jason and Todd at the Diamond District. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
21 minutes past the hour. Good, bad, and ugly. What's on tap today was the day when. Some final thoughts, a couple of picks, a boost, and a sprinkle. That's how we roll. If you're just joining the show, the last segment, it is quite something.
We screwed up yesterday. We had bets that I wanted to make, and I didn't really explain myself enough because we should have been betting the Twins. I said I walked out of the show yesterday. So why are we not betting? And I didn't bet the Twins. I just didn't have the full support of the room, and that's on me for not jamming it down everybody's throat a little bit more.
Okay, in fairness, the internet where you guys were at yesterday was horrendous. I couldn't even finish the show. And now you can't lump me in with we in this case. Literally, you two ended the show. You control the money for our betting account. How is this a we? This is on you.
Fair enough, but I need the bets to, like everything on this show, it needs to be a 2-0 majority. Trent doesn't matter when it comes to the bets.
No, it can be 1-0 with an abstention. And since I was disconnected, this was a UN Security Council vote in which I abstained. So therefore, you could get it through unanimously without me vetoing it.
Then it's on me. I take full responsibility for not betting the Minnesota Twins yesterday against the Chicago White Sox.
They've won 8 in a row now. And you're right. The White Sox had won 3 in a row. Like they were really going to make it 4.
And it had nothing to do with how well the Twins have been playing. It had everything to do with the fact that the White Sox had won 3 in a row and they're not going to win 4.
And we'll get to this coming up. But we have a doubleheader today. Miller and Moulton have a tried and true system. Hasn't always worked. I think we've had 6 doubleheaders this year, 4 splits and 2 sweeps, but we bet on splits. That's what we do in doubleheaders. So you've got 20, 30 minutes in between games. Miller and Moulton pay attention. And then whoever loses the first game, we bet them to win the second because we're betting on a split. So we've got one bet we're definitely making tonight, either the Cardinals or the Tigers. We just have to pay attention to when the game ends and place the bet accordingly. The NBA bets are easy right now. The point spread in all 3 games is 4.5. Every team that's up 3-1 in the series is a 4.5 point favorite tonight. 2 at home, 1 on the road. If I can just get back to this for a second. If you're LeBron and your choice is to play the final 2 years of your career, Lakers or Cavs, what would you choose?
Lakers.
How about this trade proposal? LeBron re-signs with the Lakers. He picks up his option, so this way he gets, because the Lakers can pay him more than anybody else. If he opts out, nobody else can pay him what the Lakers have on the books to pay him. So LeBron can get paid. Donovan Mitchell is entering the final year of his contract once this season ends. If you're the Lakers and the Cavs, how about if I propose to you straight up, LeBron at 39 for Donovan Mitchell with 1 year left on his contract?
If I were LeBron, I wouldn't let you do it.
Okay.
My business, my life is in Los Angeles. I've done everything I need to do for the Cleveland. I have nothing else that I have to give to Cleveland.
Gotcha.
I'm a mogul. I'm not a basketball player. I am much bigger than the game. I do not want to be in Cleveland, Ohio, while things are going on in my life that are happening in LA.
Fair enough. That's why I asked.
It's a non-starter for LeBron. The trade on a basketball point actually makes more sense, but I don't think LeBron would ever go for it, David.
I also think he's got a better chance to win in Cleveland, though.
I do too.
So if that still matters at all.
And if I'm Cleveland, listen, Donovan Mitchell is not going to resign. He's only going to resign if literally the places he wants to go don't want him, and he realizes, well, Cleveland can pay me more. I'll take the money. Hell, I'll just request a trade a year or 2 down the road, like every other NBA star. But there's a strong possibility. I mean, Cleveland's going to put the max contract in front of Donovan Mitchell as soon as their season ends, which could be by the end of this week if Orlando takes him out. And they're just going to put the wheelbarrow in front of him and say, here it is, dude. Take it or leave it. And when he goes, I don't know, then they're going to get on the phone and start trying to trade him. There aren't many guys you can get equal value for. By the way, how about Donovan Mitchell in Orlando? You talk about teams, just one player away, the dimension he brings, too. What is he? He's a scoring guard. What does Orlando need? A scoring guard. LeBron. If you were LeBron, okay. By the way, I was a little off on Messier with the Rangers. So when the Rangers acquired Messier, he was 31. And when he won the Cup, he was 34. So 33 turning 34. And so, Stamkos is 34 now. He'll turn 35 next February. So Stamkos a little older, about the same wear and tear, I would argue. They both played about as long because Messier was up very young with Edmonton. So Messier played a more physical game. I think the wear and tear is comparable at these stages of their career. But I think Stamkos has played his last game with the Lightning. Unless ownership picks up the phone and calls the GM and says, yeah, I know you don't want to do it. I'm the owner. This is what we're going to do.
Which is what I think will happen.
Okay.
But you are correct in that there are teams that will pay him far more to play for them than Tampa will. He would be leaving money on the table by playing in Tampa. There's no doubt.
Thing is, I know it's a lot, and in hockey world, it's a lot of money. Even now, $8.5 million a year in the NHL. That's a salary. That's not elite, but that's the next level down. And the Hedmans and the Stamkoses of the world took those 8-year deals at about $8.5 million when they knew they were leaving money on the table, but they wanted to keep the team together. And the Lightning sold them on, the life in Tampa and no state taxes. And they went, okay, all right, we'll take it. And they signed away long-term too. They could have made a lot more money if they signed a 4 or 5 year deal. Those guys all signed long-term deals. Well, Stammer's deal is up. It's his last time to get paid, man. Come on, if you're the Leafs, you wouldn't offer him 3 for 27?
Wow, that is a lot of money.
He's
That is
making 8.5 now. It's a 5% raise. Okay, out of respect.
Yeah, he should be getting a 30% discount because he's old.
He scored 40 goals.
And was minus 600.
Minus 20, I think.
Well, what if they structure it where they front load it?
No, there is no hockey. It's just all AAV.
Okay.
It's just you can't move it around. It's not like the NFL or the NBA. Hockey, it's just here's the deal. Divide it by the number of years. That's what it counts on your cap. Boom. Next.
Gotcha.
He's a great power play player that struggles 5-on-5 now. He's worth $5 million a year tops.
He was pretty good in this series, though. 5-on-5. He was pretty good in this series against an elite team. I think they had to play him too much. That's the other thing. I think he played too many minutes. We don't have to play you as many shifts and as many minutes during the final 3 years of your career. If I was bringing him in, I'd say, you're not going to play 19, 20 minutes a game anymore. You're going to play 15, 16. And we're going to save you for the spring. Stammer had to play a ton of ice time this year just to get him into the spring.
And it does make sense for a team like the Leafs that is desperate to get, we talked about it last week and we joked about it a little bit, but in all seriousness, they are desperate. They are starving, and you bring Stamkos in, and maybe half of what you're paying him is just for his leadership and to put the C on his sweater. And then the other half is his actual production on the ice.
It's tough to do that. And everything you said is spot on. It's tough to do that in hockey with a hard cap. It really is.
But everybody I'm trading, if I'm the Leafs, makes more than Stammer. That's the other thing. I'm getting rid of Tavares. I'm getting rid of Nylander. Who's the other guy?
Marner.
Honestly, get them all out of here. Honestly, I don't want to see your faces anymore. You blankety blanks. Seriously.
So what you're saying is take Boston tonight.
Oh, yeah. And I hope actually that the Bruins-Leafs final score is what the Panthers-Lightning final score ended up being last night. Even though that was a terrific game, 2-1 mid-third, it ended up 6-1. I hope the Bruins beat them so badly that Keefe is fired walking to the locker room in between the second and third period as head coach. That's how bad I want tonight to go for the Leafs. Blow them up. Break them up. You're an embarrassment. And I'm American. I don't even care about you guys.
Visit Jason and Todd at the Diamond District.
Hi, I'm Jason.
And I'm Todd with the Diamond District. I believe in complete transparency. If you're shopping for diamonds in Naples, you're paying too much. If you're shopping in the Cape or Fort Myers, you also won't see the selection you deserve to have. If you're online, there's no human connection, and you won't know if your diamond is beautiful or not until it shows up in the mail.
Just because it's GI certified doesn't mean it's brilliant. There's so much more to a diamond than its cut, color, and clarity that makes it beautiful. Visit us at the Diamond District for a non-commission and educational presentation, and quit paying more in Naples or buying blind from the internet. The Diamond District has the rarest diamonds from 1/2 carat to 10 carats. You won't find a bigger selection or better value.
And you won't find a better buying experience. Jason and I are in the store nearly every day, and we look forward to shaking your hand and welcoming you to our Diamond District family.
At the Diamond District.
The law firm of Michael F. Hornung specializes in criminal defense, DUI, personal injury, nursing home claims, and auto accidents. I'm a former prosecutor with over 34 years of experience. The information I know is information you need to know. If you've been arrested for a DUI, time is of the essence to maintain your driving privileges. Call the law firm of Michael F. Hornung for a free consultation. At the law firm of Michael F. Hornung, we are committed to excellence in your representation. Being a local attorney with local knowledge is clutch to the success of your case. For over 30 years, we have successfully represented the citizens of Southwest Florida. For a free consultation, call 239-437-0095. That's 239-437-0095. Our offices are conveniently located in Fort Myers. Visit online at mfh-law.com.
You were listening to Miller and Moulton on the Florida Sports Network. The only part with blowing the Leafs up is that these guys are all under contract, and I don't know who's going to want most of them.
I think there's a lot of people in the league that feel that these guys just can't handle the pressure of Toronto and get them out. Get them out, they'll be okay. You know, this is Jordan Montgomery, who's pitched everywhere except New York. What are you laughing about?
Come on.
Canner relief, you know what part of the problem is, though? Is we all know what Toronto needs. Toronto needs toughness. You know what Toronto needs? They need Daryl Sutter. They honestly do. They need to bring somebody in who's got a short shelf life, who knows how to win, and is going to ride them. That's what they need. They need a Sutter, brother.
Players can't play for that anymore.
They can for a year or two.
That I agree with.
Another reason why you got to sign Stamkos. You want a guy at the presser to walk into the microphone and go, I embrace the challenge. I want to be the guy. You know, I would spend some time in the States. I was around, 04 Red Sox, 2016 Cubs, Messier with the Rangers. Let's do this.
If that were the case, David, they'd be going all in.
Oh, no, Trent, they went all in, but they went all in the wrong way. They loaded up with finesse forwards. They loaded up with, quote, talent. They loaded up the way Phoenix loaded up in the NBA. They loaded up with shooting. No size, no toughness, no grit. Insufficient role players. I mean, listen, Gerard Gallant got fired wrongly 2 or 3 times in his career, but he got fired by the Panthers. They didn't even give him a ride to the airport. He had to hail a cab to get home. I mean, that's what I would do if I'm Toronto tonight. With Keefe, I might even say the same thing to Shanahan. There's no reason for you to get on the team plane.
after a 6-2 loss.
Your room's covered for the night, but after that, you're on your own. Give me the credit card and the keys to the office. We'll ship you your stuff.
Okay, here we go.
Welcome to the bonus hour, brought to you by Jason and Todd at the Diamond District. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
22 minutes until the top of the hour, 16 until we're out of here. Miller and Moulton, millerandmoulton.com, Miller_Moulton on X. Seth Everett will join us tomorrow. And to be honest with you, everything else is still up in the air. I think we're going to have Bud Elliott on tomorrow to talk about this whole negotiation going on in Dallas about the settling the antitrust case and revenue sharing with the college football players that they're talking about doing, which apparently the SEC and the Big Ten are at the table while they negotiate. Because, I mean, let's face it, Mark, you might as well have the two conferences who have the players negotiating what they're going to give the players.
The SEC, the Big Ten, and revenue sharing with players. Phrases I didn't think I would hear a decade ago.
A decade ago? How about 2 years ago?
Probably not.
Right. No.
Revenue sharing in college sports.
Correct. Well, think about it. Was it 3 years ago that NIL got introduced?
Yep.
And now it's just strictly pay for play. I mean, I don't even think you have to do the card show. Do you have to go to the car dealer anymore and even make an appearance during the
This
offseason?
is much like, we're going way back, David, but was it One-on-One, the Robbie Benson movie from the 70s?
Yes.
And
yes,
you would love it, Trent. Old basketball movie. It's supposed to be UCLA.
Short shorts too. Okay, of the time, short shorts.
But he's the big recruit. They give him a job on campus, and he goes to show up at the job, and he goes to his boss. He says, "What do I do?" And turn the sprinklers on, and the sprinklers start coming on. And he goes, "Where do I do it?" And the guy says, "They're automatic."
Right.
I mean, that was the job.
We're not asking much from you.
Right. And that's it's pure pay for play.
Yeah, strictly. Yeah,
but they're not employees.
No, they're not employees. I mean,
because they're not getting paid by the school. I mean, if you
Not
think
yet.
about how this is working out and how the schools have gotten away with what they're getting away with and flipping the whole bill to the fans is ridiculous.
Well, it's a story that, quite frankly, we didn't talk about last week, and we should have, because we're into this stuff. I mean, what Trev Alberts did at A&M a week ago, he fired a bunch of people in the administration, in the athletic department, and he said these people did nothing wrong to deserve to lose their job. But we're getting out ahead of, we see what the future is going to be. We're going to have to reduce our costs. And he all but said, because we're going to be the ones paying the players. So we're going to have to start cutting our staff now. We can't afford, we're too big. And so Trev Albert, I laid off like 20 people and said, sorry, they're all good people. None of them, he said this, none of them deserve to lose their jobs. We're cutting the budget early.
And he just got there, right?
Yes, an hour and a half ago.
It's time for someone to take back this segment, if for no other reason than to stop David from talking about Meghan and Harry. Here's Mark Miller with Today Was the Day When.
1789 we start. Kind of a biggie. George Washington inaugurated as our first president at Federal Hall in New York City.
I think we got it right.
Another biggie, 1803. We completed the Louisiana Purchase. 15 million, doubled the size of the United States.
What a steal. Honestly, we should have a poll question one day. Louisiana Purchase, Alaska, better deal.
Man, that's a tough one.
It
Louisiana would then be admitted as the 18th state today in 1812. 1904, David, at the St. Louis World's Fair, the ice cream cone makes its debut.
Wow. Wow. That's a big one.
That's a BFD right there.
Yes, it is. I don't know why the arch, it should have an ice cream cone instead. Gateway to the Midwest, whatever.
FDR is the first president to appear on television today in 1939 to open the World's Fair in New York. Hitler committed suicide today in 1945.
You didn't leave that one for David?
Probably should have.
It was too big. It was too big. He had to take it. Usually leads all the bad stuff to me, all the serial killers, the mass deaths. But no, I mean, come on. Tough to go bigger than Hitler.
The first toy was advertised on television today in 1952. Do you care to take a guess at what it was?
Toy now.
Yes.
So it's not a board game.
No,
it's
toy.
a toy. Tonka trucks.
Slinky.
Mr. Potato Head.
Says a lot about America, doesn't it?
Really does, particularly in 1952. The fall of Saigon was today in 1975. 85, Bruce Smith from Virginia Tech is the first pick for the Bills.
It worked out okay.
It worked out really well. Today in 93, Monica Seles was stabbed in the tennis match. And in 2015, Jameis Winston, first overall for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Did you see the new ad that he's in? He pokes fun at his crab leg stealing past in it. Oh, you got to check it out. Go on X and find it. Honestly,
I will.
It's awesome. Are you done? Or
Just a couple of birthdays here.
Okay, go for it.
Isaiah Thomas is 63. Michael Waltrip is 61. Actress Kristen Dunst is 42. That's all I got.
So you said today, 93, Monica Seles got stabbed. Very quietly, the World Wide Web was launched in the public domain today in 93. www. Dot. 31 years ago today.
Kind of a biggie.
Ice cream cone?
No, I'll go with the web.
Or the World Wide Web.
I'll go with the web. Close. I do love a good ice cream cone.
Staying power. Ice cream cone, World Wide Web. Ice cream cone got an 81-year head start. You think we're going to have www in 21 whatever? In the year 2105, I've got a World Wide Web to be alive.
He's singing today.
www.potatohead.
I really feel sorry for his wife because this won't end. I mean, for the rest of us, we're done in 8 minutes. We don't have to hear it anymore.
Guillermo in the Twitch chat room summed it up. I'm fired up all of a sudden. He says, I need to fire someone today. And you're probably right. Somebody needs to get fired today. I need a baseball team, a basketball team, a hockey team. I swear, I want Keefe to get fired during the handshake line tonight in Boston for the Leafs. I really do.
You've heard folks elsewhere mock Florida is gonna Florida. Well, Mark Miller sees it differently. He calls it the good, the bad, and the ugly. What you got, Mark?
All right, I struggled to find a good. So I go to South Carolina, where you have to give it up for this South Carolina man because they don't have to tell you who they are when they win lotto tickets or lottos. But he was in line at the liquor store, at the Happy Liquor Store in North Charleston, South Carolina. And the guy in front of him played his scratcher. So he decided to buy a ticket immediately after the customer did. He won $200,000. Don't you want to do that when you're? I don't buy scratchers that often, but don't you want to get behind the guy who's buying the ticket and wait for him to buy whatever it is? Give me the one right after the one he bought.
Totally.
You look like a loser. How about I buy the ticket after yours? That's probably going to be a winner, and you're going to lose another scratch.
And imagine if you somehow knew the guy ahead of you, and he finds out that you did that.
Well, that's like at the casino. Come on now. How many times have you seen somebody at the One-Armed Bandit and they're throwing all this money? They've spent 20 minutes, the whole deal, and they didn't win bupkis. And finally, they put their last coin in, they lose, and they get up. And they're like Anthony Kim there at that LIV event. They are just cursing a blue streak. Okay? And you wait till they're just out of sight. And you sit down and you go, this machine is going to pop at any moment. And you get within like 5 coins. Cha-ching!
For the bad, we go to the Best Bud Smoke Shop in Bonita Springs, where Abraham Gonzalez tried to bust through the back door while an employee was inside. He tried opening the door with a wrench, tried opening the lock several times. Then he waited to see if anybody was going to come to the door. Said a person who owns the store next to the smoke shop. Then he tried to take a flower pot to see if there was a key underneath it. Then he tried to ram the door with the wrench. And finally, he just left on his bicycle, where the Lee County Sheriff's Office tracked him down and arrested him with burglary and criminal mischief. To a smoke shop. There's no weed in this. What are you breaking into a smoke shop for? What are you going to do with 64 bongs?
Clearly, you're not from here.
Finally, the ugly. We go to Lansing, Michigan, where an 18-year-old driver woke up to a bit of a surprise Monday morning. Not only did he pass out behind the wheel of his car, but he had a tree smashed into the front of his truck. The tree wasn't where the driver hit the tree. He continued on with the tree for at least a little while before he decided to pass out at a gas station parking lot with the tree stuck in the front of the truck.
You know, this really does sound like Lansing.
It
Not East Lansing, Lansing.
Well, it could be either. That is the good, the bad, and the ugly on today, April the 30th, 2024. Just kept going. Got a tree in your truck.
How do you plead not guilty of that in court? You plead not guilty, huh? Yeah. You do know you hit a tree and you kept going, right? You sure we can't play this out, sir? Are we really going to have to waste time? What happens more quickly? The Maple Leafs coach gets fired or that guy is found guilty?
That guy close.
Oof. So there's 16 baseball games today because we got a double dip in Detroit. Only afternoon game is the first game of the doubleheader, Cardinals and Tigers. But good series going on. Yankees and Orioles battle for first. They're tied right now after Baltimore won last night. Philly saw their winning streak snapped in Anaheim. Braves are in Seattle. A couple of winning teams there. Okay, Marlins are home for the Rockies. Marlins
Yes,
have
they
lost 7 in a row? 7 in a row. The Marlins have the worst record in baseball at 6-24, but the Rockies are a robust 7-21. Let's play. First off, the Marlins are favored. Wow. Secondly, what do we think the attendance is going to be? A Tuesday night in Miami. They did 63-76 last night, but the Panthers and Heat were both playing.
Well,
if I throw 1,500 on top of that and give you 78-76 over under.
Under. But don't forget, if you're listening and you want to go, you can bring your instruments and you can do the all-you-can-eat deal. So go do it.
I got to be honest with you at this point. What can't you bring except a firearm? Honestly, come on. You go, the sign, you can't bring this in. Seriously, I'm a potential paying customer. You guys are 6-24. That's 200 baseball. Can we play this out as to what that, I mean, that's like 33 wins.
All right, right now, who's going to lose the most games this year? The White Sox, the Rockies, or the Marlins?
The Marlins, because they're in, I think, the best. The best division of the three. Although the AL Central has, played well the first 30 games of the year. I think they're the only team below 500 is the White Sox.
Yeah, that division's been better than anticipated. I'm going to say White Sox. I think the Marlins have more talent.
White Sox are 6-23, Marlins 6-24. Rockies with a robust 2-game lead on the Marlins are 7-21. They're on pace to win 40. Marlins on pace to win 33. So anyway, that's Major League Baseball. All right, let's get to it. It's a shame tonight that the Boston Leafs game is on ESPN because And by the way, if Boston wins, last game for Jack Edwards as voice of the Bruins also, because they don't do it after the first round. Because Paul Bissonnette has just been lighting the Leafs on fire, and he's Turner, and so he's not part of the broadcast tonight. So that's a shame.
It really is, because he went off the last game on him.
Yeah. So that's a shame. But Islanders, Hurricanes, Avs, Jets, Preds, Canucks, 4 series that are all 3-1. The home team has a chance to clinch in 3 of the 4 series. NBA tonight, 4.5 points is a spread in all 3 games. Sixers in New York.
Love the Knicks. The Sixers are broken. Got no spirit about them.
Yeah, I actually like the Sixers tonight. Magic, Cavs.
Cavs.
Magic.
Yeah, Cavs. Pacers, Bucks. Can Indiana?
Pacers.
I'll go Milwaukee. Even though the line says that both Dame and Giannis won't play. Hey, have a great rest of your day. Hump Day tomorrow.
Located on the East Trail, locally owned Naples Tiki Bar and Grill is an outdoor eatery next to the Hitching Post Shopping Center. Island-inspired food with a true tiki theme. The best place in Naples to enjoy the beautiful weather in Southwest Florida. The Naples Tiki Bar and Grill offers a great menu for dine-in or takeout. Enjoy our famous pulled pork, huge burgers, and tiki bar cocktails. Don't miss happy hour every day from 3 to 6 and live music 7 days a week. See you soon at the Naples Tiki Bar and Grill, 11498 Tamiami Trail East.
The law firm of Michael F. Hornung specializes in criminal defense, DUI, personal injury, nursing home claims, and auto accidents. I'm a former prosecutor with over 34 years of experience. The information I know is information you need to know. If you've been arrested for a DUI, time is of the essence to maintain your driving privileges. Call the law firm of Michael F. Hornung for a free consultation. At the law firm of Michael F. Hornung, we are committed to excellence in your representation. Being a local attorney with local knowledge is clutch to the success of your case. For over 30 years, we have successfully represented the citizens of Southwest Florida. For a free consultation, call 239-437-0095. That's 239-437-0095. Our offices are conveniently located in Fort Myers. Visit online at mfh-law.com.
Visit Jason and Todd at the Diamond District.
When choosing something of high value and personal significance, such as a diamond, you want to shop with the best. And the mall is not the place to be. Here are my friends, Jason and Todd with the Diamond District.
Take a stroll in the mall, hop into a few jewelry stores, and you'll soon discover you're in the wrong place. Rings begin to look all alike. You're not finding GIA certified diamonds. You quickly realize you know more than a salesperson helping you, and all the same financing gets pushed on you.
Visit Jason and me, and you'll find America's top bridal designers dealing exclusively with the Diamond District. You'll find the largest selection of GIA certified diamonds, all priced 8 to 10% over cost. You'll find educated sales consultants who have many years' experience and are not paid commissions.
And you'll find Todd and me in the store nearly every day, wanting to shake your hand and welcome you to our Diamond District family.
Visit Jason and Todd at the Diamond District.
Mark Miller for Molly Maid. Why Molly Maid, you ask? Trust. Moulton was a customer for 15 years. Affordability. Didn't I just say Moulton was a customer for 15 years? Worry-free services. Our professional house cleaners are fully insured and a 24-hour warranty. Call Molly Maids today at 239-774-5839. That's 239-774-5839 or online at mollymaid.com/FTMYERS. That's mollymaid.com/FTMYERS. You were listening to Miller and Moulton on the Florida Sports Network.